Field in New York, the New York Mets play the Pittsburgh Pirates. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Spectrum. Hey, Mets fans, get the best TV, internet, and voice service today at Spectrum.com. By Geico, the #1 insurer in the New York market. And by Tri Honda. Hurry to your local Tri Honda dealer for great deals on all models. Well, summer is here at Citi Field, one of the 10 best days of the year today. Just a perfect day to come out to the ballpark and head in, well, whatever direction you need to get to your seats. Hey, the Pirates are in town. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. Gary Cohen, Ron Darling, Keith Hernandez with you tonight as the Mets open a 3-game series against the Pittsburgh Pirates. You know the Mets story, they opened the season 11-1 and have fallen like a rock since then. The Pirates have had a very similar trajectory to their season as well. Well, they started out red hot, and a lot of it was their offense. They were just leading the league in hitting and runs scored for the month of April. They had a very good April. In middle of May, it started unraveling. That's the last time they saw first place. Now they're back to 9 games behind, and their season has unraveled. So in Major League Baseball, there's always a term, water seeks its level. I think it's happened with the Pirates. So two struggling teams. Pirates have lost 5 in a row. Mets have lost 6 in a row. The Mets have lost 13 of their last 14 home games. The only win in that span belongs to Seth Lugo, who pitches tonight.
And that was that fantastic game, 6 scoreless innings against the Yankees in that Sunday night game. He has been great at Citi Field all year. He was great in his first 2 starts out of the bullpen, but has struggled mightily in his last 2 starts.
With Garrett Cole gone to Houston, Jamison Tyone is now the most talented young pitcher on the Pirates staff.
Yeah, 4 wins, but he's had some magical games. A 1-hit shutout and also 8 innings of shutout ball. So when he's on, he's a tough mark.
Tyone got his first big league win here at Citi Field a couple of years ago. He makes his first trip back to Flushing since then. It's the Mets and the Pirates at Citi Field. All the action coming your way on SNY. Noah Syndergaard has Thor t-shirt giveaway to all fans in attendance Friday, July 6th when the Mets play the Reyes. Courtesy of your local Ford dealers, this exclusive one-of-a-kind t-shirt was designed by well-known Marvel artist Joe Q and is only available to fans in attendance July 6th. For tickets, go to Mets.com/tickets. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Verizon. The most awarded network is now the best streaming network. By Cadillac. Visit CadillacTristate.com for exceptional offers. And by the State Farm agent of the game, Pat Cauley of Glendale, New York. Contact Pat at PatCauley.com. Enhance your next game day experience with the MLB Ballpark app. Access and manage your tickets. Enjoy check-in offers, exclusive content, and much more. Download the MLB Ballpark app today. Time for T-Mobile's Hats Off for Heroes. And with the Pirates in town, who better to honor than the great Ralph Kiner, our former colleague who served the Navy in World War II. 7-time National League home run champion, 369 home runs in just 10 seasons, and great service to our nation as well. Mets and Pirates on a gorgeous day in the big city. First pitch is coming right up. And now back to today. Here's your Hyundai starting lineup for the Pirates. A little lineup shuffle for Clint Hurdle. Their team has been struggling, just 8 runs during their 5-game losing streak. So Starling Marte will bat leadoff for the first time this year. Josh Bell will hit second for the first time this year. Josh Harrison will hit third for the first time this year as the Pirates try and get something going against Seth Lugo.
Well, Lugo has got 25 inning scoreless streak here at Citi Field. As you see his Toyota numbers, he's always been good here. 6-2, 2.05 ERA at Citi Field in his career.
Last two starts both on the road. Neither one went well in Arizona or Colorado. He'll try and get it pointed back in the right direction, facing the Pirates for the first time ever. Starling Marte leads off, and Lugo's first pitch of the night is a fastball in for a strike, and we're underway. Lugo coming off just a 3-inning stint in Colorado, gave up 6 runs, 3 earned in those 3 innings. A no decision for him. And he runs a fastball inside to Marte, 1-1. Marte hitting at .273, missed half of last year, suspended because of testing positive for PEDs. And he bounces one slowly. Guillorme has it go off his glove and no time to recover against the speedy Marte. And it's an infield hit to start the night. And they're going to score that an error on Guillorme.
Really? He had it in the glove. It just popped out. Look at all the tape on his throwing hand. What's that all about?
So Guillorme making the start at third base tonight, charged with an instant error. And now Josh Bell, who had a tremendous rookie season last year, has tailed off significantly this year. 26 home runs as a rookie last year, just 4 this season for the switch hitter. Marte runs first pitch. The throw by Mesoraco is high, goes into center field. Marte didn't realize it, and he'll stay at second base with his 15th stolen base of the year. So the Pirates off and running.
Well, that's the one thing about the head first slide on a stolen base attempt, is that you cannot tell where the ball is. If you do a pop-up slide, you know that ball's in center field, and you pop up, you're on your way to third.
His first clue was when he asked for time and the umpire wouldn't give it to him.
Well,
only the second stolen base against Lugo this year.
Lost 5 in a row, but the Bucks have come out ready to play.
They had a team meeting before the game today, after which Clint Hurdle shuffled his lineup, and clearly a bit of a message was sent. So a runner at second with nobody out, a 1-0 count to Bell, and he takes a fastball inside. It's 2-0.
No, Bell, I've watched last year. He had a lot of power. He's an all or nothing kind of guy. 57 strikeouts. Guy that can be pitched to, but he's got power.
Finished third in the Rookie of the Year balloting in the National League last year. And Lugo keeps the ball inside and falls behind 3-0.
Big, tall guy, left-hand hitter. Look at him bend the bat down like Goldschmidt.
And Bell swinging 3-0. Hits a weak ground ball. That'll advance Marte to third. It's the first out of the night.
Your Metropolitan Lexus defense, Guillorme at third. Got the error already. Plawecki, his second start, 4th of his career at first base. And surprisingly, Reyes getting more playing time. Dominic Smith is going to be seeing a lot of left field. Let's get a deck of cards here and shuffle them up.
You get a card, and you get a card.
That's right.
Well, here's Josh Harrison, who's been a real Met killer. 321 lifetime against New York. Mets will bring their infield in the first inning. Marte at third and 1 out. And Harrison goes after a curveball and fouls it straight down. 0-1. Harrison, just the 7th time in his career he's been asked to hit third. First time this season for the 2-time All-Star.
But hasn't he always been a Met killer, Gary?
He has indeed, Keith.
Did I repeat
and
myself?
That's the truth, Keith.
Thank you. I just wanted to reiterate that. I wanted to make sure. I wanted to punctuate that.
Oh, you really hit it hard. Right up the gap. Harrison hitting .393 with runners in scoring position this year, and he takes a curveball inside. It's 2-1. .393 with runners in scoring position, but he has 19 RBIs, which will tell you he has not had a lot of opportunities to drive in runs. 2-1 from Lugo, and that curveball balloons inside. It's 3-1, and Lugo struggling early with his command. Colin Moran is hitting cleanup. He's on deck. Pirates have lost 5 in a row, 24 of their last 34 since their 26-17 start, and mostly it's been about the offense. Harrison fouls one at the plate, 3-2. When they were off to their fast start, they averaged 5 runs per game. Since then, less than 3.5 runs per game, and they've gone from first place to a buried 4th.
Yeah, they're becoming irrelevant.
Cardinals kind of hanging around. There's Clint Hurdle. And Reyes Surge, the former Met, the pitching coach, right behind him.
Milwaukee surged back into first place after the Cubs got swept by the Reds over the weekend.
But the Reds have turned it on, haven't they?
7 straight wins.
They started 3-15, replaced managers. Under Riggleman, they're 29-30.
Must be Matt Harvey.
That's what I thought, exactly.
He pitched really well his last time.
Yeah.
3-2 from Lugo, and Harrison fouls away the fastball at 96. Lugo has that ability to dial it up a notch when he needs to get a strikeout.
He does, but it's interesting. His manager would like to see him pitch like he does out of the bullpen, and that is full bore from pitch number 1, even as a starting pitcher.
Of course, nobody knows just how much longer Lugo is going to be in the rotation. Now you got 2 starters on the DL, Syndergaard and Vargas, so it might be a while. Again, the 3-2, and that's hit to center field. That should get the run in. Marte tags. Conforto makes the catch, and Marte can walk on in with the first run of the game. Unearned run for the Pirates on the sacrifice fly by Harrison, cashing in the Guillorme error, and it's 1-0 Pittsburgh.
Fastball in, didn't get in enough, but that's, you're looking for the sacrifice fly. You got 2 strikes on you.
Look at that.
Play it up the middle.
See him pump his fist?
Yep.
Imagine that. Situational baseball.
Oh, Gary.
Here's Colin Moran with 2 out and nobody on. Moran, one of the players the Pirates picked up when they traded Garrett Cole to the Astros, and this is a homecoming for Moran. He's a New York kid, born in Port Chester, went to Iona Prep, and this is the first big league game he's ever played in New York. He is the nephew of B.J. Surhoff, and like B.J., he played his college ball at the University of North Carolina.
Looks a little bit, I'm not talking about the beard, body type, like a little bit like Charlie Blackmon at the plate.
He drives this one to the gap in left center, and that's going to split him and bounce up against the wall. And Moran heads to second base, slides in safely with a 2-out double. First hit of the night against Lugo, Moran's 12th double of the year. So happy homecoming. Welcome back to the big city.
Fastball bled out, wanted it in, and missed up and out over the plate.
I was right. I thought it hit over the wall into the M&M section there.
It was ruled in play on the field, has no bearing since he was going to go to second and stop there anyway.
Always good to get it right.
Now Elias Diaz, the catcher, hitting 5th in the order. The Pirates' best offensive player this year has been Francisco Cervelli, their regular catcher, but Cervelli's on the DL with a concussion. So Diaz, who's having his best offensive season, is playing in his stead. Diaz last year had the best offensive game of his career in this ballpark. He homered and drove in 6 against the Mets. Diaz hits one slowly. Reyes waits for it and throws him out to retire the side, but the Pirates cash an unearned run in the first. Mets come to bat down 1-0. As long as there's not too much traffic going through the concourse.
Whenever I'm at the airport, I'm always checking out people's shoes.
Why?
Because people wear some crazy sandals and stuff on shoes now.
Did you notice what Keith was wearing tonight? Here's your Geico Mets starting lineup. Jose Bautista, who's been the Mets' hottest hitter, moves up into the 2-hole. Brendan Nimmo is out, but fortunately the MRI today was clean on his right hand, and he's day-to-day. So a bit of an unusual look for the Mets lineup tonight against the hard-throwing right-hander Jameson Taillon.
Well, see his Land Rover numbers. Bryce Harper drafted #1. Taillon drafted #2. Manny Machado drafted #3. What a draft.
And Taillon and Harper were actually a battery on a U.S. under-18 team in the Pan Am games. Harper was Taillon's catcher.
That's right.
Conforto's got a 7-game hitting streak going, hitting .370 over the 7 games, up in the leadoff spot with Nimmo out of the lineup. Taillon drops one low, and it's 2-1.
It was supposed to be a cutter. If you watch his motion, it's very much like Jake Arrieta for the Phillies. Faces kind of sideways to the hitter and just a mini kind of step back.
He sells a fastball outside 3-1 with Bautista and Cabrera to follow. Taillon's always been a guy who doesn't walk many. His control numbers this year are top 10 in the league, just 2.4 walks per 9 innings. 26-year-old from Texas, and he misses outside. He walks the leadoff hitter. So Conforto's aboard.
So he's a big, tall right-hander, and when you have guys like that, just a big person, they try to really limit the movement. We see that with Syndergaard. We see that with a lot of big, tall pitchers. Taillon's the same, just a little sideways movement.
Yeah, almost a slinger, Ron.
Yeah,
almost, and he's not drop and drive, that's for sure.
So now Bautista, who's been getting on base at a just incredible rate lately. On base 3 times yesterday with a double and 2 walks. Swing into the first pitch, and he fouls one off. Over the last 10 games, Jose Bautista's on base percentage is .645. Just crazy. And .476 in his 30 games as a Met. It's the second highest on base percentage through the first 30 games as a Met in Mets history. You know the only one higher?
Olerud?
No, it goes back further. Hopped up into shallow center. Harrison going out. Marte coming in, and Marte will make the call. 1 out. Goes all the way back to 1962. Richie Ashburn, .493 on base percentage in his first 30 games as a Met.
Pirate Jeep defense. This is not a team that is brilliant defensively. They've made they made 50 errors this year. There's only 3 other teams that have made more errors than them. They've always been a club that has never been sterling in the field, except for Starling with 2 Gold Gloves.
Of course, no more Andrew McCutchen, who now applies his trade in San Francisco, so that certainly changes the dynamic of their defense. Here's Cabrera, who homered yesterday, his 13th of the year. As Drubal had only 14 all of last year, and he already has 13 with less than half a season having been played this year.
43 RBIs the last time he had that many. He had 51 in the first half for the 2011 Cleveland Indians.
Conforto at first with 1 out. And Cabrera looking to drop a bunt down with the shift on, and he missed it. It's 0-2.
Well, well, well.
Thought we'd see some of that yesterday, right? Late in the game, but wasn't to be. Cabrera tries a day later. 0-2 pitch right down the middle. See a lot of that these days from pitchers. Maybe it's because they want to limit their pitch count, but a lot of 0-2 hittable pitches. A way to attack Taillon. Last 24 times someone tried to steal on him, they're 24 for 24, but the Mets don't have a lot of speed, as you all know.
Conforto has 2 steals this year in 4 tries. Mets are 11th in the National League in steals. Diaz sets up inside, and it's up and in. Snap throw, and Conforto just got the hand back. And it's back picked by Elias Diaz. He almost got him.
Conforto had it covered. Good lead coming off, easy to get back.
Boy, if he had thrown that tag right in front of the base, he would have got him. See how he had to reach. If you're the first baseman there, let the ball travel, because you cannot move as fast as the ball with your hand. Let it travel all the way to the base.
Come on, ball. He always wins. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and curveball in the dirt, stopped by Diaz, and it's 2-2.
So proud of myself. I talked a little first base defense. I think that's the first time in 13 years.
Are you allowed to do that?
I don't think so.
Isn't your contract?
I don't think I'm allowed to do that. Sorry about that, Keith.
That's okay. Don't listen. I'm going with the flow today. I'm not getting rattled.
I think it's because he was in the truck yesterday. Now he's feeling more productive. You know, the guys in the truck were just thrilled to have Keith down there barking out orders.
Good. Gary, I just thought your cadence was a little quick. I had to come on and let you know.
And you heard my response. Good thing nobody else did. 2-2 to Cabrera with Dominic Smith on deck. And that's outside. So after Taillon got ahead 0-2, he's run a full count to Cabrera. Taillon comes off a start where he threw a ton of pitches against Milwaukee, 100 pitches in 5 innings. Gave up 3 runs and 7 hits in that start. Lost the game 3-2. New haircut.
Summer haircut, right? Can't have that during the school year.
Well, you can.
You can. Depends on where you go.
Conforto runs. It's too high, ball 4. So Taillon walks his second in the inning. Lost Cabrera after getting ahead 0-2. And the Mets have something working. First and second and 1 out.
You know, it's funny with the limits of the mound visits, although no one ever gets really close. This would be a situation with a young pitcher. I think that you'd always see at least a catcher go out or a pitching coach come out and try to settle down the young right-hander, but that's not to be anymore.
Well, first inning runs have been a problem for Taillon of late. Mets trying to add to that. Clint Hurdle watches as Taillon tries to struggle his way through this first inning against the Mets' newly minted cleanup hitter Dominic Smith. First time he's hit cleanup this year, the 10th different player to hit cleanup for the Mets this season. Anything to change the mojo, right? Mets cleanup spot this year has produced 4 home runs, 28 RBIs, and a 190 batting average, all the worst in baseball. Second worst cleanup hitters, the Pirates.
Well, Taillon, you were talking about that, Gary. 5 of his last 6 starts, given up first inning runs, and he's given up a home run in his last 3 straight starts.
Well, he's not getting his curveball over right now. He's up with his fastball. Get him early.
And Dom hits one weakly foul, and it's 1-1. Kevin Masrocco hitting 5th in the order, and Reyes 6th in this unusual lineup for the Mets today.
Just so used to having Nimmo somewhere in that lineup. You take him out, and it changes the whole entire lineup.
And Smith bounces slider foul, and it's 1-2. Conforto at second, Cabrera at first with 1 out. Plains flying low tonight. And the curveball hit right back to Tyone. His throw to second. Mercer on to first for the 1-6-3 double play. That ends the inning. Let's get a couple aboard. Tyone gets through it. No 1-0 Pirates after 1. Seth Lugo gave up an unearned run in the first inning. First run he'd allowed in 26 innings at Citi Field. Corey Dickerson leads off for the Pirates in the second. One of the mysterious moves of the offseason was Corey Dickerson being let go by the Tampa Bay Rays. Guy was an all-star for the Rays last year. 27 home runs, hit .282. And they DFA'd him in February.
Well, they did not want to have to go through the arbitration process with him because he had a good year for them.
Wound up trading him for 2 low-level minor leaguers, and the Pirates reaped the benefits from that. Dickerson hitting just under 300, and he takes a curveball for a strike, 1-1. I mean, you talk about a classic salary dump.
Yeah. I mean, I saw a stat somewhere where a great percentage of their home runs and runs driven in were all gone by the Tampa Bay Rays, and they're still getting it done.
Dickerson, who began his career in Colorado, takes outside, and it's 2-1. Gregory Polanco on deck, and then Jordy Mercer for the Pirates in the second. And of course, Pittsburgh needed outfield help with Andrew McCutchen having been dealt to the Giants. I think everybody was expecting the Pirates to take a step back this year. They traded their most identifiable hitter, their most identifiable pitcher, McCutchen and Cole. And when they got off to a fast start this year, I think it was a surprise to a lot of people.
I mean, they were considered one of the teams that was going to throw in the towel, as we say, and have one of those seasons where just line up for a good draft prospect.
Now, they had a terrific 3-year run where they won the wild card 3 years in a row, 2013 through 2015, after not making the postseason in 2 decades. But the last 2 years, 78 and then 75 wins, and they figured it was time to start retooling a little bit. Three-two coming to Dickerson, and he fouls off the fastball.
Dickerson with 2 strikes, really choking up on that bat. Got off to a pretty quick start, kind of like the Pirates, but he hasn't hit a home run since May 4th. Hasn't walked since May 23rd, sorry.
Pirates are the only team in the major leagues that doesn't have a player with double-digit home runs. That's it out to left, and Smith is right there to grab it. 1 out.
We always talk about every pitcher wants the same arm slot, and he does. The only difference, look at the hand position. On the fastball, he is behind the ball, and on the curveball, he's around on the side of the ball. That's how you get it to spin, or in the fastball's case, that's how you get the back spin to keep it true. Nice shot, guys.
Now, is it just me?
Yeah.
Or if we show that shot again, his arm angle appears to be the same, but his head angle is slightly different.
That'll a lot of times on a curveball, pitchers will try to clear their head a little earlier to get a little more spin. So you see his head on the left. On the right, he's pretty clear. Maybe it was taken at, I don't know if it's taken at the exact same time, but sometimes on a curveball you try to clear your head a little early to try to get a little more torque and spin on that breaking ball.
Gregory Polanco at the plate, dropped to 7th in the order today. It's been a struggle for Polanco, hitting just .214. Last year hit .251, an injury-scarred season for him. He was on the DL 3 separate times with hamstring issues. He's stayed healthy this year.
He doesn't bring too much on the bases. I wouldn't say he's an excellent outfielder, so his bat has got to play for him to be a viable player.
Remember when he first came up, I mean, he was just impossible to get out. Well, they have found the holes in his game. 2-2 to Polanco.
He's got a long swing, doesn't he, Keith?
Long swing, low ball hitter. And I think we've seen it around the league. A lot of guys throwing upstairs now, and that lift swing is not going to cut it above the belt.
2-2 to Polanco. And that one skips in and took a chunk out of Mesoraco on the way. Seth's just a little off tonight. Can't throw his curveball where he wants it.
But he is, when he's on, I mean, he'll rattle off 8, 9 out of 10 strikes at all times.
Fastball drilled to deep center. Conforto back to the wall, and it's out of here. Gregory Polanco becomes the first Pirate to reach 10 home runs this year. A long drive on a 3-2 fastball to give the Pirates a 2-0 lead. After the Mets gave up 7 solo home runs yesterday, Polanco adds another in the second inning tonight.
Keith, this place looked like Williamsport yesterday for the Dodgers.
It was blown out to left, that's for sure. This fastball just was right down Broadway in the wheelhouse.
So 2-0 Pittsburgh. Now Jordy Mercer, the shortstop, takes a fastball upstairs.
Four-seamer. See that backspin, but it's center.
A little below the belt.
Mercer hitting a .260 with 4 home runs. Another guy whose home run production is down, hit 14 last year. Boy, it's up and down that Pirate lineup. By the way, that home run, the 100th allowed by the Mets this year. Only one team has allowed more home runs in the National League than have the Mets. The Mets just at home, just not working.
Talked about that. One win was Lugo.
Yeah, the slider strikes out Mercer. First strikeout of the night for Lugo. 2 out in the inning.
Maybe that taught Seth something. He's been struggling a little bit with his curveball early, but that slider was true. Maybe that's a pitch he goes with for a couple of innings.
So now Tyone, the pitcher, 2 for 24 this year. And he Lines one right to Guillorme, and that retires the side. But Polanco's home run adds to the Pittsburgh lead. Seventh when the Mets take on the Rays at 4:10 p.m. First 25,000 fans in attendance will receive a Jacob deGrom bobblehead, courtesy of your local Ford dealers. For tickets, visit Mets.com/tickets. Your city probables the remainder of the series. Steven Matz against Chad Kuhl tomorrow night. Zach Wheeler against Ivan Nova Wednesday night. Devin Mesoraco leads off the home second and takes a sinker low from Jameson Taillon, who now has a 2-0 lead. Cut it a slider, 1-1.
Well, you can see the way they're pitching Mesoraco now. We've had a chance to watch him play. He got off hot, and it's tough for him to share the time with Plawecki.
Punched into right field, and then he'll fall in for a base hit. So the Mets have their first hit of the night, an opposite field single for Mesoraco.
But as I was saying, Mesoraco likes that fastball. He's a dead red hitter right now. Here's another fastball inside, and he muscles it out to the opposite field. But they've been throwing him lots of breaking stuff.
So now Jose Reyes starting for the second straight game as Ahmed Rosario gets his break from the action. Reyes 0 for 5 yesterday, hitting 170 for the year. And he tries to bunt his way on and fouls it off.
Jeez.
All of a sudden the Mets are bunting.
It's a tidal wave.
Rosario was out early today taking bunting practice. Wound up getting in the game yesterday late. But this is part of a scheduled 2-day break for him. It's his 4th off day in the last 9 games. And a slider at the feet of Reyes, and he went around, and it's 0-2. That slider, by the way, is a new pitch for Taillon. He didn't have that before this year.
He was really a running fastball, curveball pitcher, a little changeup, but now it's kind of a cutter slider hybrid.
It's a pitch that he threw in the minor leagues, but he ditched it an A-ball in 2012 and reintroduced it this spring. And it's working for him. Ground ball toward the middle of the diamond. Mercer going to go to first with it in time to get Reyes, as Mesoraco is safe at second. Did he have a play at second base?
Nah, I would have been tight.
But you see, you've got the second baseman so far, Harrison, away from the bag. I thought he had a play.
Oh, he did.
And it's just all this, the way they place the shifts, and it just, now you got a runner in scoring position. So there now it's a razor. It's a double-edged sword.
It just makes it more awkward to think about double plays or forced plays when your personnel is deployed in unusual ways.
It's almost like instead of that underhand ladle for the force out, you got to do the option quarterback backward flip.
So he's got to play right here.
But he's got to do the backward flip, right? It's a little harder.
Kevin Plawecki hit the game-tying 3-run homer yesterday for the Mets in the 8th. His last 2 starts, 4 for 9 with 3 extra base hits, and getting a start at first base today to keep his bat in the lineup. And he hits it sharply right at Mercer. Mesoraco will have to hold, and that's the second out. Oh,
nice.
We had a beautiful sky today.
Yeah.
Great sun. Now the moon is encroaching.
Oh.
Here's Luis Guillorme with a runner at second and 2 out. Guillorme making his first start in about 2 weeks. Last time was in the doubleheader in Atlanta a couple of weeks ago. Hitless in his last 12 at bats. But making contact. Guillorme has now gone 38 straight plate appearances without a strikeout, which is the longest current streak in the majors. And the fastball catches the corner, 1-1.
The catcher's going to go out. That ball caught a lot of the middle of the plate, and explained to his young pitcher, hey, listen, we got the pitcher coming up next. We're going to get this guy, make sure we're on the perimeters of the strike zone.
Seth Lugo would be next. Home plate umpire Brian O'Nora taking a moment to mark his card for the mound visit. 5 remaining.
About just keeping it in your head.
You know, in my experience over 50 years of coming to baseball games in Flushing, usually when the planes fly low, it's because it's overcast. Today it's the most perfect, beautiful night, and for some reason the planes are flying very low. Keith, do you have any thoughts?
I don't care. I think that they look normal to me. But you're right about one thing. When it was overcast and the low clouds, they sometimes got, I felt dangerously low a couple times my tenure here at Old Shea.
You did not like the planes flying over while you were batting.
I played it up. I wanted to break up the pitcher's rhythm.
It's always something else, isn't it? Some ulterior motive.
Looking for the edge.
Guillorme pops one up into shallow left. Long run in for Dickerson, and he slides to make the catch. And that retires the side. Dickerson, who doesn't move all that well in the outfield, had to turn on the jets to make sure that ball wouldn't land and keep the Mets off the board. After 2 on a low plane flying night, 2-0 Pittsburgh. roster, and they're both playing tonight with Mesoraco behind the plate and Plawecki at first base. So the Mets had to recruit a bullpen catcher, Eric Langell, to warm up the pitcher between innings.
He didn't train that very well. Eric, let's go.
Now I want to know, why is it that that Eric got the call over Dave Racanello, the more tenured bullpen catcher?
Rack's got to take care of the bullpen. That's more important than the in-between innings catching. Or maybe they're going to trade off. Who knows?
There's Rack out in the bullpen, working on the sunflower seeds.
Our bullpen catcher was a guy named Rob Drummerhauser, who's a big, huge Mets fan and the nicest guy you will ever meet. His nickname was Dump. He used to travel with us, the Dumper. And one game we were in Chicago. Remember, they had the mounds on the field then, and Gary Carter had made the last out. I was pitching, and he realized it and came sprinting from that bullpen mound and got behind the plate, huffing and puffing. And I looked at him. I said, "What are you doing here? Get out of there! I'm throwing to you." And he sheepishly walked back to the bullpen.
Well, Dump was also a very fun-loving guy.
Yeah, great guy.
Giddy, loved to laugh. So we needed Vern Hoscheit down there to keep him in order.
Vern was the bullpen coach. He was quite the taskmaster.
Yes, he was. He was the Marine Corps sergeant down there, and Dump needed schooling.
2-2 to Starling Marte, leading off the third, and he goes down swinging on the curveball, one of the best ones Lugo's thrown early in this game. It's his second strikeout.
What made this good is it was down. I showed you earlier the grip when he gets on the side of that ball, but more importantly, starts it in the strike zone, ends up in the dirt.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now Josh Bell, who with a runner at second and nobody out in the first inning, swung at a 3-0 pitch and grounded one to the right side, which helped produce a run. Cody Bellinger, unanimous winner of the Rookie of the Year last year, but Bell finished third in the balloting behind Paul DeYoung and ahead of Rhys Hoskins. Ball in for a strike, 1-1.
It was the 18th Rookie of the Year for the LA Dodgers,
which is by far the most of any team.
Now, is it LA Dodgers or is it also combined with Brooklyn?
Goes back to Brooklyn.
Yes.
I mean, the Rookie of the Year didn't exist before 1947. Jackie Robinson won the first one.
That's right. But
and now the award is named after him.
The thing that separates the Dodgers is that they had 2 great runs of Rookie of the Year.
5 in a row.
Yeah.
Twice. Popped up into shallow left. Dom Smith coming toward the line. 2 out. I have to say that for a guy who does not have a whole lot of experience out there, Dom looks pretty comfortable.
I think he looks pretty comfortable wherever he is. You know, he just has that kind of body language. Dom is he's a confident dude. He's got that little thing in his back pocket to let him know where he should play each hitter.
SoCal, chill.
Yeah, just chill.
Here's Josh Harrison, who delivered the sacrifice fly that drove in the first Pirate run. Mets play a full shift against Harrison. Think of him as a dead pull hitter. Takes a slider for a strike. Maybe that now that he's a number 3 hitter. And he does yank that one down to third. Guillorme is there. Wide throw, and it goes past Plawecki. Harrison heads to second, and he'll make it safely. Guillorme, who had never made an error in the major leagues before tonight, now has 2 of them.
Well, this is just routine. It's just a bad throw.
He's had some problems with throws this year.
Yeah, his arm is not 100%, but still, that's it's as easy as it gets. That play, you're not going to get an easier play.
So Guillorme, who was known for his glove, makes his second error of the game. And here's Colin Moran, who drove a double to left center his first time up. Finds a fastball inside for ball one. Lugo was bedeviled by unearned runs in his last start. Remember, Todd Frazier made an error that opened up the door for 3 unearned runs. So it's errors by third baseman that have plagued him in his last 2 starts. And that was 2-0 to Moran.
So it won't be a true pitch around, but I would be surprised if it was not a 2-0 breaking pitch of some kind hit to Moran after the double in his first at bat.
Speaking of third baseman, it's nice to see David on the field today. I don't know, what his time frame is for ramping it up, but just the fact that he was out taking batting practice was brought a lot of people to some smiles.
Yeah.
As Rocco sets up inside, and now it's 3-0 to Moran. And the Mets are going to put him on. So after falling behind 3-0, they'll give him intentional ball 4. Like pulling a rabbit out of a hat. First walk given up by Lugo. And so he'll face Elias Diaz with 2 out and 2 on. Diaz grounded out to short his first time up.
Trying to get the right marking for the intentional base on balls when it wasn't intentional when the at bat started. You know what I'm saying?
Well, how'd you do it before?
I always just put IBB.
Even when it was 2-0.
Yeah, but now I'm putting a slash in there.
So you're evolving.
I'm evolving in my scorecard. Yeah, I'm just trying to monitor when pitchers are trying to go after hitters and then give it up after a while.
Are you marking down mound visits? Since
no,
that's now a rule.
I'm not doing mound visits.
Okay.
I will never do the mound visits.
I'm in your camp.
I also am not marking down mound visits. I am relying on the scoreboard tally. I mean, it's never been an issue yet. I don't think we've seen anybody get below 2 mound visits remaining.
It's very much not like you, Gary, to be on top of that. I would think that would be you wouldn't trust anybody but yourself. You know what I'm saying?
If I were a younger man, perhaps I would have made that adjustment more easily. But it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. Chopped on the ground toward the hole. That'll go through for a base hit. Harrison around third. And Smith's throw is far too late. And another unearned run cashed in by the Pirates. Elias Diaz finds a hold, drives in Harrison to make it 3-0 Pittsburgh.
Boy, there's nothing worse for a player, everyday player, when you make an error, you just kind of go, gosh, please get out of this jam. Don't let me cost you a run. And it's happened twice to Guillorme today.
Probably worse, I would think, for a guy who doesn't play every day.
Worse.
Well, you're not going to throw Harrison out with 2 outs and he's moving on the swing of the bat and contact.
Harrison always finds a way to do something against the Mets.
He does.
Fight his way out of a rundown, hit a sacrifice fly today, and this time scooting home on a 2-out hit to make it 3-0. Here's Corey Dickerson fouling off a changeup. Dickerson flied out to left his first time up. Lugo retired the first 2 in the inning, and it looked like the easiest of 1, 2, 3 innings, but Guillorme threw away a routine ground ball for a 2-base error, and Diaz cashes it in with a hit.
Bucks with the picket fence so far on the scorecard.
How many ones do you need for the picket fence?
5 for me.
They're working their way. All they need is Tom Sawyer and a bucket of whitewash.
There you go.
Trying to finally put up the brakes on this inning as Dickerson chokes up again with 2 strikes.
2-inch choke up. Seeing a lot more of that. But, Barry Bonds did it, and he was pretty successful.
Joey Votto's doing it.
Yeah, that's 3 inches. That's a serious choke up.
I want to see someone do the Felix Mian choke-up.
Oh, wow. It's almost halfway up the bat.
9-inch, 10-inch choke-up.
He used to use that big U2 bat.
Felix Mian was a Gold Glover, very smart player, number 2 hitter, classic number 2 hitter, could bunt, get a runner over, move the runner, do the little things that are scoffed at today in some circles.
And he played every day. I think he was the first Met to play 162. 2-2 to Dickerson. I think he and John Olward are the only Mets to play 162.
Wow.
If I recall correctly. Just let me know. Grounded down to first, a foul ball.
I was just thinking that for his years, and he was an excellent player. I played against him when he was in Toronto, John Olerud. No one expanded less energy than Olerud as a good player. This me on.
Here's that choke-up we were talking about.
So I had the pass down the number. I forgot that Felix wore 17. Wow.
That 73 Mets National League Championship team. Dickerson takes a fastball in the corner for strike 3. Third strikeout for Lugo, but the Pirates cash their second unearned run of the night, lead 3-0 in the third. You know, there's been a lot of changes in baseball over the last few years, and one of the big changes is that the analytical folks have really taken charge of the game, and so many of the concepts that they've introduced are completely correct. And one of those things has to do with big ball versus small ball, right? That if you swing for the fence, if you hit more balls in the air, over time you will score more runs.
Right.
But that's the macro view of winning baseball. The micro view is that there are situations where you only have to score a run to win a game. And this came up in the game yesterday, right? The Mets were in a tie game with the Dodgers. They're in the 9th inning. Michael Conforto leads off. They're giving him the entire left side of the infield, but he swings away and he grounds out. Then in the 10th inning, the Mets get the leadoff man on, and Dominic Smith comes up, and again they're giving him an easy bunt hit on the left side of the infield, not quite as radical, but again he's asked to swing away and he winds up striking out. And Mickey Callaway was asked after the game about why, particularly in Smith's situation, that he didn't bunt, and Mickey's answer was that Dom had never been asked to bunt in the minor leagues, that he didn't feel as though he knew how to bunt, and that his best option was to have Dom swing away.
You know, I did not have an issue with Conforto leading off the inning because Conforto has hit 27 home runs last year. There's a ground ball, second easy out, and he's leading off the inning even though it was clearly you could have put a bunt down there. But as a manager, I would have given him the hit sign, but maybe it's something that you as a hitter you do on your own. As far as Dom is concerned, that was in the bottom of the 10th in a tie ball game, a leadoff runner on first. Okay, I played in the minor leagues. I was never asked to bunt. Okay, they're developing hitters in the minor leagues. All I ever did my whole career as an everyday player was that first round of hitting. You bunt 3 bunts, you hit and run, then go into your rounds of hitting. So I can appreciate what Mickey is saying, that Dom has never bunted. But in that vein, Whitey Herzog put a bunt on with me in Montreal, and I think it was 1980 when he took over the team. The team was going nowhere, and I just think he wanted to make sure that I wasn't above the team. I was shocked when I saw the sign. I was always scared to death to bunt. I never bunted, but I put a bunt down the third base line, and I'll be doggone. Wallach was playing. Tim Wallach was playing way back. I got a base hit, but I still feel I'm lucky with that hit. So you're talking about micro, Gary. I think late in the game, that situation called for a bunt. Whether he can bunt or not, it's up to the hitter to get the job done.
I know that you know, the analytics folks will tell you that a bunt is always a bad play.
Yes.
And over time, I mean, in the 4th inning, they're probably right. But the question is, if you're in a situation where A, you're only playing for 1 run to win the game, and B, there's a shift on so that they're basically giving that to you, that's got to change the equation. And that's where it changes from your career, Keith, because I can imagine if you had been in a situation where in your career they had consistently played 3 infielders on the right side of the infield, you would have altered your game to pick up more hits that they were giving you, right?
I agree, and I just think that with the emphasis on power, which is pull, you're allowing these shifts right now. These extreme shifts, Garrett.
Conforto strikes out. Let's hear what Callaway had to say after the game about not bunting with Dom Smith.
We thought about bunting, but Dom's never bunted in his professional career, so we didn't think that would be a good idea. You know, we wanted him to drive the ball like he's been doing lately. He's put some good swings on it, and unfortunately, it didn't happen.
Well, I mean, my comment on it is that you know, if I've got Joey Votto or someone of that renown up at the plate, I can totally understand not even considering a bunt. But you know, my view, and I said it yesterday, was that, you know, I'm no mathematician, but if you have a guy in first and second with no outs, it's a better chance to score than a guy in first with no outs. Now, the defense, it would have had to have been a little better bunt by Dom to make sure that he got a base hit. But the worst thing that could have happened is that he didn't lay down a perfect bunt. They threw him out at first, and you had a runner in scoring position, which in the macro view will say that's not great to give up an out. But you still would have had a guy in extra innings in scoring position.
Although we saw Max Muncy try to bunt for a hit yesterday, and he bunted it right back to the pitcher, and you do it in that spot, it's a double play. So it goes back to the question of, shouldn't these guys have some idea how to execute that part of the game for the situations where it's necessary?
I think that today's player is executing exactly what they feel as though they're going to get paid to do. And if they're going to get paid, they're going to get paid, because if you're 17 years old and he can throw 95 miles an hour, you'll get $7 million like the young man did from the Detroit Tigers today. And if he can hit the ball out of the ballpark and keep the ball off the ground, I think many hitters, on the ones I've talked to, feel as though anything on the ground is an out. They are trying to keep the ball off the ground.
Well, I think what's the philosophy, and it comes from the organizations, and it's not just the Mets, it's all over baseball, and it is about the emphasis on the long ball. So you're getting away from the little things that win a ball game, Gary. And I go back to what you said late in the game, in a tight game. There's little things when you got to chip away to get that run, and you just can't, you know, wait for the big blast. You're not going to get that all the time.
And you're not even factoring in the type of pressure you put on the other team when you put people on base. And pitcher on the mound starts to get a little tight and squeeze that ball and can't throw the pitch where he wants to. That's all part of late baseball.
There's another piece to this that has, I just assumed that, you know, the commissioner referred to this the other day too when the question was asked him about banning shifts. What he said, and what I've always felt over the last 5 years as the shifts have proliferated, was that hitters would adjust. And again, we're not talking about the 40 home run guys, but the 15 home run guys who get shifted against, that they would naturally try and figure out how to take advantage of what the defense is giving them and hit more balls to the opposite field, whether that means bunting, whether that means just cutting down on their swing and trying to hit the other way. They are basically giving you half of the field, like in football, right? Yeah. When they play the prevent defense, you don't throw a bomb against it, you throw the short out because they're giving it to you. Right. Why hasn't baseball evolved the same way? And again, the commissioner, Rob Manfred, he alluded to this the other day, and it's incomprehensible to me that hitters have not adjusted in that fashion. Mets are turned aside in the third inning. We'll talk more about this when we come back. 3-0 Pirates after 3. Fourth inning, 3-0 Pittsburgh. Gregory Polanco homered his first time up, leads off against Seth Lugo and pops the first pitch up in foul ground. Guillorme accelerating to the tarp but runs out of room. And strike one to Polanco. Polanco hit 8 home runs in his first 39 games this year, but his home run in the second inning only his second in his last 39 games. And the first Pirate to reach 10 home runs this season. It's the only earned run Lugo's allowed tonight. 2 errors have led to 2 unearned runs. Polanco, then Jordy Mercer, and the pitcher Tyone bat for the Pirates in the fourth. Fifth start of the year for Lugo. Jams Polanco, and it's 1-2.
You know, I was just thinking about the Pirates. They are one of those teams that had kind of bet on having one of the best outfields for years to come, with Marte in left and McCutchen in center and Polanco in right, and it didn't come to pass. Like all your eggs in one basket kind of thing.
Like the Marlins?
Well, yeah, exactly. But, you know, that's what happens for smaller market teams, right. Maybe, you know.
And the window closes.
Yeah, you've got to be able to scout your own people. And, you know, when you're all in on them, they better be good. And not that Polanco's not going to be good, because he's got a ton of talent offensively, but hasn't been the player they thought he would yet.
Well, last year it all fell apart, right? Marte got suspended. Polanco got hurt all year, and McCutchen for half the season couldn't get a hit. And the backdoor curveball misses. 3-2 to Polanco.
A lot of 3-2 counts for Lugo. That'll tell you that he's not on top of his game. He's just a dart thrower, strike thrower when he's at his best.
Fourth full count of the night. Second time to Polanco. And he pulls that one down the line, just foul. Nice play off the screen. The whole new skill.
That's right.
Playing those caroms off the newly installed screens.
Except the guy in the orange T-shirt, if the screens weren't there, he would have had himself a souvenir.
Again, the 3-2, and he missed with it. Leadoff walk to Polanco. Let's check in with Steve Gelb. Steve?
Gary, to further the discussion you guys were having in the last half inning, I had a long conversation today with Mickey Callaway about what happened yesterday. And even though he's a forward-thinking, analytical manager, it's clear he would still prefer to have players that understand and are capable of playing small ball.
Even though you might not do it often, the times you're going to do it are going to be so important, and the game's going to be on the line, that they have to be really good at that particular skill. And they have to have a comfort level that when they know that they have to do it, that they can get the job done, instead of, you know, putting them in a hole because you try to bunt them the first 2 pitches. Next thing you know, they don't get a good pitch to hit. So, you know, if they're comfortable, if their comfort level isn't there, it's almost better to swing away and you know, go that route. The best place to learn a skill is actually in the game, and probably during the minor league season. You know, you're going to sacrifice some wins at your minor league level to develop guys. You know, if you're trying to win at the minor league level, you're probably not doing yourself justice at the major league level, because you're not sacrificing wins for development. I think the way to make shifts not happen is to beat analytics and do the opposite of what they think you're going to do, and put more bunts down or try to hit the ball the other way to make them come out of the shift to open the holes back up that you want to use as your strength.
Now, I asked Mickey Callaway why, if you can prevent shifts by being capable of hitting the opposite way, would the Dodgers have shifted guys like Dom Smith and Michael Conforto, who are clearly capable of doing that? And what he said is that it's not just about going the opposite way, but it's about hitting the ball on the ground the opposite way. And those two guys can drive the ball in the air the opposite way, but when they hit ground balls, they don't hit them to the opposite side.
Mercer flies one out to Bautista for the first out. Does any of that make any sense to you, Keith?
There's plenty of gap in this ballpark to hit line drives in. You're talking about fly balls. And what I feel is that such emphasis on the home run today and lifting. You look at Bellinger over this last series. Okay, fine, Bellinger. He's a 230, 240 hitter if you look at him, and he's a classic power hitter. So let that guy pull and try to hit it out. But not everybody's a Bellinger, and this lift, now they say that you got to hit the ball on the ground. Okay, I disagree. You can hit the ball, you can hit line drives in the gap as well as balls on the ground. You don't want to hit a fly ball, but with this lift, now you've lost the ability where that bat goes on the outside pitch and drive that ball the other way. And if you want home runs, it creates bad habits in the swing, and then they're hard to break. It's not easy, Gary, to go up there time after time and try to pull and lift, and then all of a sudden you get up late in the game. Okay, now I'm going to get on top and hit a line drive to left center field. It's not easy.
But let's talk about the larger piece as Tyone pops one up and it's caught by Lugo, and that's the second out. I mean, if you want, and Mickey said it, I thought, with great articulation there, right? If you want to get a team out of the shift, go against the analytics, hit the ball the other way. So why aren't these guys being taught how to adjust to that, as opposed to being taught one grooved swing that can only do one thing? Because that's a great part of the game. Home runs are fantastic, right? You score a lot of runs that way. But there are times, especially if you want to get a team out of the shift, that you've got to hit the ball the other way. Why aren't these guys learning to do that?
Well, I don't know what their teaching all over baseball in the various organizations. Obviously, there is an emphasis on home runs. But all you got to do, Gary, we come to the ballpark, we prepare, we watch BP. Watch guys BP. Take their BP. A lot of them are pulling and hitting fly balls. I mean, I always worked the whole field. Willie Stargell, and I don't want to sound like an old guy here, but Willie Stargell was one of the premier cleanup hitters, hit 40 home runs, and he told me about his BP. His first 2 rounds were to left center field. He's a left-hand hitter, folks. If you youngsters out there. His next 2 rounds were right center, and then his final 2 rounds were right field pull. And then when you went down to the end and you had 3 pitches, 2 pitches, 1 pitch, and out, that's when he said, okay, 8th inning, I need to hit a home run. And that's when he would try to hit his home run, because he didn't want to overdo it in BP. And Willie was hit 300 for more than a few times in his career.
Well, I find it fascinating that after all the discussion last night, that twice already in this game the Mets have attempted to bunt for hits, and that Ahmed Rosario was out for an enormous round of bunting practice before the game today. So something has clicked in the last 24 hours.
Well, maybe, and also I think let's not let the player off the hook. It's incumbent on them to make themselves and understand, look in the mirror, what kind of player they are, to make themselves a more well-rounded player if they're not, and that way that'll make themselves a better and more viable player. It's on them. It's their career.
Polanco runs. Marte takes strike 3 called, and Lugo works around the leadoff walk in the 4th, his 4th strikeout. Still 3-0 Pirates. Sea of tranquility.
Oh.
Dominic Smith leads off the home 4th. Dom came up with 2 men out in the 1st, did a comebacker into a double play. Jameson Taillon's given up just 1 hit over the first 3 innings. Well, we alluded to this a moment ago. Ahmed Rosario taking significant bunting practice today
with Gary DiSarcina. And that's what you do when you want to bunt. You want to catch the ball with the bat. So he's learning to catch it with his hand first and then using the bat. It hasn't changed.
It's a good drill. I like that.
Hasn't changed since I worked with Buddy Harrelson 35 years ago.
Well, certainly Rosario, with his speed, regardless of shifts, should be able to use that as an important weapon in his arsenal. Smith gets under one to right center, and Polanco has plenty of room. 1 out. And certainly the theory of how to play these situations has changed. So game tied, home team at bat, 9th inning or later, first runner at first, nobody out. You don't have your 3, 4, and 5 hitters at the plate. If you go back and look at those situations in the first 53 years of Mets history, 52% of the time the result was a successful sacrifice bunt. Last 4 years, only 1 in 11 situations of that nature, including the one last night. As Araujo lines one to the shortstop Mercer, and there are 2 out. So it's not just now, and it's not just the Mets. It's the way the theories of the game have changed. But again, you're talking about the macro theory of how you score the most runs over the course of a season versus how do you score 1 run to win a game.
That's right.
And that's where those things come to loggerheads. And I think at the end of the day, I think what you said, Ronnie, is the most important thing. The more things you can do well in the game, the better chance you have to have the proper skill to help your team win in a certain situation. And then it's incumbent upon organizations to help develop those skills.
I mean, it's very rare. You got the 40-120 guy for 6, 7, 8 years, right?
1-2 to Reyes, who grounded out to short his first time up.
Wow, good sunset on the west side.
Curveball strikes out Reyes. 3rd strikeout of the day for Tyone, who has his first 1-2-3 inning. After 4, 3-0 Pittsburgh. To go. Here's a better look. Sped up just a tad. Sometimes it seems like life is moving that fast.
Yeah, right.
You're supposed to linger and enjoy the sunset.
It's our 13th year.
Here's Josh Bell leading off the 5th against Lugo, and he takes a curveball for a strike. Bell is grounded out and flied out 0 for 2. Harrison and Moran to follow for the Pirates, who are trying to snap a 5-game losing streak against the Mets, who are trying to snap a 6-game losing streak. Lugo, the last Met pitcher to win at home, as the only win for the Mets in their last 14 home games. Toward the middle of the diamond, Cabrera can't quite make the backhand stop. And Bell is aboard to start the 5th.
That should be a hit. That was a bad bounce. Came up on him.
E4.
Think so, E4?
Yep.
Yeah.
Bad hop. That's a tough error.
It will be an error.
Ball came up, hit him in the heel. Tough bounce, but it's got to be an error.
Okay.
Tough error.
3rd error for the Mets on the infield tonight. Guillorme made the first two. They each led to a run. And now Josh Harrison, who was in the middle of both of those scoring plays, a sacrifice fly in the first, then reached on an error and scored in the third. I don't know how Josh Harrison plays against everybody else, but he plays like one of the top 5 players in the league against the Mets.
He's a good player.
I mean, his numbers are not fantastic. He's got a .314 on base percentage, doesn't steal many bases. He's been an all-star a couple of times. Hit .272 last year with 16 home runs. Not eye-popping numbers by any means, but he plays like a winning player.
Well, we were just talking about, he does a lot of things well.
How about his ability to get out of rundowns?
The best ever.
I'm not sure he can get away with some of those moves anymore, the way they're calling running out of the baseline this year. But he's elusive.
Poor Ruben Tejada, that one run down, his pants ended up backwards.
I mean, he'd be a great scat back, right?
Yeah.
Little number past the mound. Cabrera's going to have to hurry the throw, and he gets Harrison by a stride. One away as Bell moves to second. Time for your Spectrum high-speed pitch. It's a tie. There's no ties in baseball. Used to be ties in baseball.
That's right.
Not anymore.
Ties in spring training. Thank God.
Oh, could you imagine? If they played 16-inning games in March.
Oh.
Here's Colin Moran, who's doubled and been intentionally walked in his first game back in New York. And he takes a strike. Colin Moran has something in common with Wilmer Flores. They both last year hit foul balls that hit them in the face and broke bones. It doesn't happen very often. Moran's was a little more serious. He broke his eye socket.
Yeah.
Wilmer broke his nose. In fact, it was in Houston where Moran played last year. Right back to Lugo. He's got the runner trapped between second and third. And Bell is tagged out by Reyes. 2 out.
Beautifully played by the pitcher Lugo. Exactly what you're supposed to do.
And a beautifully executed rundown. Now watch Reyes. There's Lugo right there. He's got him out. Okay, run him back. Reyes closes. And he's done. Reyes has all the momentum coming towards the runner. You give it to him around 7 feet or 10 feet in front of the runner with Reyes moving forward. It's over with.
So 1-5-6 on the fielder's choice. Moran at first with 2 out. And now Elias Diaz, who drove in a run with a 2-out hit in the third. Lugo up to 86 pitches. He threw 100 his start in Phoenix on the last road trip. That's the most he's thrown this year. And starting to back up a little bit on him. It's 2-0.
96 we had on the Spectrum high speed pitch, and now 91 there in that fastball.
Oh, I thought it got Mesoraco on the backswing. I guess it didn't hurt him.
Catcher on catcher crime.
I thought it got him in the shoulder. Look at the backswing.
It got him right in the glove and wrist, didn't it? Let's see.
On the forearm.
Right.
Oh, there's the grimace.
Well, you would think a catcher would never do that because he doesn't want to get that himself.
That's where I think the use of the gun is very important. When you see a pitcher back up with his speed, that is a signal to me as a manager or pitching coach that my pitcher is tiring. Not that he still can't get outs, but that he's tiring.
Shallow center field, a long run for Conforto. He won't get there. It lands for a base hit. Moran will go first to third. Elias Diaz with a pop fly single, his second hit of the night. And the Pirates have first and third and 2 out.
Well, the base running blunder by Bell, getting caught in that rundown, cost him a run.
It's going to be a tough out for Lugo. Dickerson has been on 2 or 3 pitches in his 2 at bats. I mean, right on it.
He was called out on strikes his last time up on a pitch that he thought was off the plate. Flied out his first time up tonight. Moran at third, Diaz at first with 2 out. And Dickerson takes the backdoor curve outside for ball 1. Nobody up in the Mets bullpen. Remember, the Mets bullpen was heavily taxed yesterday. Blevins went 2, Peterson went 2, Beck went 2 2/3. Smith pitched for a second straight day. You would have to figure all those guys are down tonight. The Mets did make a player move and brought up Tyler Bachelor from AA Binghamton and sent Chris Flexen back down to give them a fresh arm. But this was one of those days when they really needed their starter to get deep into the game, and it might be tough for Lugo to do that over 90 pitches in the 5th inning.
Yeah, I don't think that this is going to be his last inning, I think.
One to Dickerson. Gregory Polanco would be next. Now, the errors have really cost Lugo in terms of having to throw extra pitches tonight.
Yeah.
No more so than in the 3rd when he had 2 out and nobody on. A routine play, looked like the inning was over, and he wound up having to throw a dozen more pitches. And changeup misses, and now he's behind Dickerson 3-1.
Well, if you're Dickerson, you got to think right now you're going to get a pitch to hit. Polanco's up behind you. He's hit a home run in this ball game already, so you'd have to think you're going to get challenged here.
Moran at third, Diaz at first with 2 out. And Dickerson swings through the fastball, 3-2.
A lot of movement running away from Dickerson. He swung under that high fastball.
It's a home run swing.
So Diaz will be in motion from first. Plawecki will play behind him. 3-2 coming, and Dickerson fouls off the curveball to stay alive.
He wasn't going to trust Brian O'Nora this time. He said anything close, he's going to try to put in play.
Stirring around now in that Mets bullpen with Lugo up to 95 pitches. He's due a turn at bat in the bottom of the 5th. Seventh pitch to Dickerson, and he fouls off the fastball. But that one back up to 94. Looking to finish the hitter off, but he'll have to do it again.
Follow through from Dickerson is letting you know he's trying to hit that ball the other way.
But not on the ground, right? Because there's a big hole on the left side of the infield. I'm just saying.
Has Mesoraco out? This is a good time to go out. This is such a huge pitch. Got to keep this game at a 3-run deficit, and you want to be on the same page with your pitcher. And the discussion goes like this. Okay, this is what we've thrown him in this game. What do you feel comfortable throwing? Do you feel comfortable throwing a 3-2 breaking ball? He will not swing at it if we throw a good one. Or do you want to go rush him inside with a fastball? Those are the discussions you have between pitcher and catcher, and you decide on one and trust it.
Is the catcher asking, or is he pushing for a particular pitch?
Sometimes they're pushing, sometimes they're asking. Depends on the catcher and pitcher.
8th pitch of the at bat coming to Dickerson, and he fouls off another fastball on that one. Caught Mesoraco again.
It's like a target tonight.
They wanted to go inside, Ron, and that thing really bled out over the outer half. And Lugo just really doesn't have, as you've mentioned, his command tonight.
He's usually pinpoint. In the last 3 starts, he's been less than that.
He's missed with his against the left-hand hitters, and there are 4 of them in this lineup. 1 switch hitter, 3 left-hand hitters. He's missing that backdoor curveball, which is a big weapon for him.
Again, the 3-2, and he misses with the curveball. Ball 4 to load the bases. 3rd walk given up by Lugo. And he'll face Polanco with the bases full. Well, there is Tyler Bachelor, just called up today from Binghamton. His dad's in the ballpark.
Nice.
Up from Georgia.
Nice
to see him make what could be his major league debut, or at least to watch him warm up in the bullpen.
He'll be in this game.
It's a good chance of that, with so many folks in the bullpen having been pressed yesterday. So here's Polanco, game-breaking moment. He's already homered and walked. Bases loaded, 2 out, and a first pitch curveball popped up. Reyes getting under it, and that retires the side. Lugo gets a king-sized out to keep this game within reach. Halfway through, 3-0 Pirates. Go on any device with live streaming presented by Verizon. Just visit SNY.TV or download the NBC Sports app today for live streaming coverage of every SNY Mets game. Kevin Plawecki leads off the home 5th inning against Jameson Taillon, and he takes a strike.
We haven't really talked about Taillon, who has really settled down, hasn't he?
Well, last year Jameson Taillon had an almost miraculous season. When you consider that in early May he was diagnosed with testicular cancer, had surgery, and was pitching a month later. I mean, how's that even possible?
I don't know.
And he actually pitched really well for a while after he returned. Then he struggled in the second half, finished at 8-7, 4.44, and he's been pitching very well lately. June has been his best month so far. Strikes out Plawecki on 3 pitches to start the bottom of the 5th. 4th strikeout for Taillon.
So it kind of pitches down in the strike zone early, and if he gets 2 strikes on, he just elevates the pitch. I mean, it's there used to be a time where when you faced 8 hitters in the lineup in the National League, you had 8 different blueprints on how to get hitters out. This is almost a brand of how to get hitters out, each and every person that comes up.
Cookie cutter.
Yeah.
It's like Levittown.
There you go. Very good.
Only one blueprint.
Columbia, Maryland.
Luis Guillorme flat out to left his first time up. And he slaps one to the left side off the glove of Moran, and Guillorme arrives safely. Well, Guillorme has flubbed a couple of plays at third base, and now his counterpart messes one up as well. It'll be an error on Moran.
One-handed here. Well, he couldn't get in front of it, so.
And now Todd Frazier will bat for Seth Lugo. Lugo was out on deck for a moment, but once the Mets got a runner aboard, it was pretty well certain that he was going to be batted for. Frazier just getting a day off today. He has really been frustrated of late, and he has not made a secret of it with his actions. Went 3 for 15 in the series against the Dodgers. Taillon had retired 5 in a row before the Moran error. Guillorme at first with 1 out. And Frazier takes a slider for a strike. So Tyler Bachelor up in the bullpen. Looks like he'll be making his major league debut momentarily.
So this big, strong right-hander, this Bachelor there. This big, strong right-hander, Taillon. We showed 96 miles an hour earlier in the game. Still throwing 96 here in the 5th. Effortless.
To Frazier, and he misses with a curveball. 1-2. Michael Conforto waits on deck. Frazier has been playing every day except for when he was on the DL. Has not pinch hit this year. He drives this one to right center, slicing away from Marte, but he gets over to grab it. And back to first base goes Guillorme. A hard hit ball off the bat of Frazier, but Marte, 2-time Gold Glover, getting over there for the second out.
Well struck. Easily run down.
That's why you like speed in center field.
And I liked how, as the ball was going in his glove, he was eyeing Guillorme to see where he was, thinking maybe I have a chance to double him up.
He was.
Here's Conforto, who's walked and taken a call third strike, and takes the curveball down for ball 1. In the air, deep right field, down the line, and foul.
Oh.
Conforto just missed a 2-run homer. And I mean just missed. Mickey Callaway's coming out to ask whether the umpires are sure, but
it's foul.
It was definitely foul.
Yeah. Three seats foul.
Well, they are going to initiate a crew chief review, it appears. And, you know, Mickey can't really tell from where he stands in the dugout. He just wants to make sure that the umpires make sure.
I don't like this crew chief review. It just You got a first base coach, umpire. I saw it. It was foul.
Fielding Colbreth is the crew chief, and he's the one who made the call as the first base umpire.
You know who'll tell you if it's fair or foul? Your hitter. That's who'll tell you.
I mean, it's clearly foul.
I mean, come on.
Looking at the replay. It's not even
this is just
a few seats to the right of the pole.
It's just a waste of time.
And that's what they are informed of by the crew in Chelsea. Sam Holbrook and Jeff Kellogg have their crews in the replay center this week. New crews starting on Monday.
Okay.
They work Monday through Sunday.
Okay.
The 8 umpires who are assigned to the replay facility. There's the umpires on the field tonight. Brian O'Nora, one of the more respected umpires in the game, with the plate tonight.
Strip the umpires of their power to arbiter the game.
Well, they agreed to it.
And then you ask them to make the tough decisions. It's hard to do both.
They agreed to it. They got some sort of compensation, so I have no sympathy.
Well, there are 8 more jobs too, because you have to have that replay center crewed by 8 umpires at all times. Two and 1 to Conforto. And Michael fouls back a fastball, 2-2. Conforto has walked and struck out tonight against Tyone. And he strikes out Conforto on a curveball to retire the side. 5 strikeouts for Tyone. We played 5 innings at Citi Field. Tyler Bachelor will make his big league debut when we come back. Bringing Kiermaier back for his defense. Well, there's Tyler Bachelor on the left, and on the right his parents, Steve and Pam, who are here from Georgia to watch their son make his big league debut.
Nothing like this for parents, and no feeling like this for Tyler Bachelor. See his numbers in AA Binghamton. He's known for good gas, of course, guy of the bullpen, but when he's on, a wipeout slider.
Got the call last night. Thought he was going to AAA. and then was disabused of that notion, told he was going to the big leagues. His first pitch goes to the backstop at 97 miles an hour. Ball 1. Jordy Mercer is struck out and flied out 0 for 2.
It's good to be in Double-A Binghamton as opposed to maybe Las Vegas.
Now, that advantage will dissipate next year when the Mets have their Triple-A team in Syracuse, but geography was certainly on his side today. Jamison Tyone on deck, and Mercer fouls off the fastball 1-1. Bachelor has had trouble with his control, but when you think about his history, it's not surprising. He came to pitching very late. He went to South Georgia College as a catcher third baseman, and after his freshman year, he got a call to pitch in a summer league. He'd done very little pitching and did well enough that when he went back to school the next year, he asked to be a pitcher, and that's when his pitching career really began.
That's that slider I was talking about.
And he was drafted in 2013. He had Tommy John surgery the next year, missed 2 years, so he really hasn't pitched very much. But his arm is clearly electric.
Yeah, built like an athlete. Look at mom, eyes closed, praying.
1-2 to Mercer, and it's too high. And you can see the stuff that the Mets loved in spring training. Two from Bachelor, and Mercer jumps back, full count. Tyler was an 11th round draft pick by the Mets in 2013. And once he put Tommy John surgery in the rearview mirror, he has moved pretty quickly. 3-2 coming. Popped up into shallow right center. Angling in Bautista to make the catch. 1 out. And now maybe Mr. Bachelor can breathe.
Yes.
Now Jamison Tyone, who was lined to third and popped up a bunt attempt. Seth Lugo threw 99 pitches over 5 innings. 4 hits, 3 runs, only 1 earned, 3 walks, 1 intentional, 4 strikeouts, and a home run. So his ERA actually went down tonight from 2.85 to 2.76. Tyler Bachelor, the 46th Met to appear in a game this year, the most the Mets have ever had before the end of June. And the slider inside 1-1.
I was looking around the league to see what that really meant. So they've used 46. The Houston Astros have used 31.
Punched on the right side, and Plawecki puts it away, 2 out. So Bachelor's retired his first 2 big league hitters.
See him with heavy breathing, can barely get enough oxygen and process it. Neither can his mom.
She hasn't breathed since his name was announced. She needs 1 more out to be able to exhale.
Enjoy the moment.
Here's Starling Marte, who's 0 for 3. Reached on air to start the game, stole a base, scored a run. Since then, he struck out twice. And Marte takes a breaking ball outside, ball 1. Bachelor was in 20 games in Double-A this year, pitched to a 2.63 ERA, 4.5 walks per 9, but 11.3 strikeouts per 9. One to Marte. That's on the corner at 97, and it's 1-2. Another hitter turned aside. 2-2.
Should have happened this weekend.
We've seen both Mercer and Marte have to
Well, let's see who stays. Let's see who stays in.
Up and in, slider away.
A lot of hitters aren't used to this. This is
2-2 coming. Comes up and in again, the full count. Three-two from Bachelor to Marte, and he walked him. So a 2-out walk puts Marte aboard. And we'll see how Bachelor holds runners now against Marte, who stole his 15th base of the year in the first inning. Josh Bell coming to the plate. Bell is 0 for 3, reached on errors last time up. Pirates have 4 hits. The Mets have only 1. Pittsburgh scored in each of the first 3 innings against Seth Lugo, 2 of the 3 unearned. Marte at first with 2 out. Bachelor checks in on him.
Whenever you overthrow, and this is a definite occasion when you will do that, it's the first outing, ball will always end up and away or up and into the right-hander if you're a right-handed pitcher. Just a little too quick with your body.
Can you calm yourself down by throwing the ball to first base?
Not this inning.
There goes Marte. Double clutch by Plawecki and no chance. Marte stays on the bag, his 2nd of the day and his 16th of the year. As Mesoraco had trouble getting rid of that ball.
good throw by Mesoraco. Too good a jump.
That was a good job by Reyes. And today's game, you just gotta, if he's safe, just stay with the tag, just in case he comes off.
Maybe force him off. Yeah. So a runner in scoring position with 2 out. 1-1 to Josh Bell. And he pops one just inside. 2-1.
That could have been called. That'll be the one pitch if they ever go to a electronic strike zone that the hitters will not be happy about.
But who you can argue to? Bell slugs one down the left field line, slicing toward the corner, and it's out of here. Josh Bell tucks one inside the left field foul pole. A 2-run home run, his 5th of the year, to make it 5-0 Pittsburgh. So a 2-out walk and an opposite field 2-run homer costs Bachelor 2 runs.
You know, Keith, sometimes you drive the ball to left, and sometimes you just are strong and late. And that's what Bell was. He was just late, but kept it fair.
Right on it. Bell tie.
26 home runs last year, just his 5th of this season. And the Dodgers' second home, the Pirates' second home run of the night, still stuck on Dodger home runs from yesterday.
Right. That makes sense.
That's 9 home runs in the last 2 days, given up by Mets pitchers in the course of 17 innings. 9 home runs. Well, the Mets bullpen ERA on the Ford leaderboard just continues to rise. In the last month, it's worse than that, as you see on the bottom there, 6.42. We got a load of that Rockies bullpen last week.
Yeah,
that wasn't very pretty. See Brian Shaw went on the DL. Not shocking the way things have been going. Plawecki into foul territory. grabs the pop-up from Harrison to end the inning. Tyler Bachelor got the first 2 out, but a walk and a 2-run homer add to the Pirates' lead. 5-0 Pittsburgh in the 6th. Home 6th inning. Mets now down by 5. Jose Bautista leads off against Jameson Tyone. Bautista walked his last time up. 23 walks, only 59 official at bats for Bautista as a Met. Getting on base at a prodigious rate. Moved up to the number 2 spot in the batting order by Mickey Callaway tonight to try and get something working, but the Mets have been held to just 1 hit through 5 innings by Tyone. Cabrera and Smith to follow for New York in the home 6th. Well, Clint Hurdle had a pregame meeting with his team today. It seems to have paid dividends for the moment.
Well, I bet you that took a long time.
Bautista slugs one out to center, but Marte has room. 1 out.
What do you mean by that?
There's Clint.
We love Clint. Clint is a wordsmith. He can
talk.
He can bring it.
He's done a heck of a job. Let me tell you where he's been managed.
When you say wordsmith, are you talking quantity or quality?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, both. You know, I probably saw Clint when he was at his bottom as a professional player. He had been acquired by the Mets from the Kansas City Royals, where he was supposed to be a wunderkind, right?
Well,
on the cover.
Yeah,
cover.
And it never really panned out for him there. And he came over to the Mets, and he had been an outfielder, and they asked him to play third base, and he proceeded to drive in 105 runs in AAA for Davey Johnson. And consummate pro, learned a lot about the big leagues from him with his stories about George Brett and others.
Up the middle, Cabrera's got the Mets' second hit of the night. So as dribbles aboard for the second time.
Well, Cabrera's out of his little funk slump, his first slump of the year. He's swinging the bat good again. So Clint became our third catcher too when he was with the Mets.
He did.
And then Doc hit him in the head. Remember when he went to the Cardinals?
That was in '86, and then he came back to the Mets for his last cup of coffee in '87.
Of Clint was
And
a good
then
man.
then he went right into managing. He managed in St. Lucie in the Mets organization in '88, and that got his whole second career started. Now his 8th year as the skipper of the Pirates after 8 years in Colorado. There he is. He was the phenom.
That's right.
The Sports Illustrated curse.
From Melbourne, Florida, Cocoa Beach, Ron John Surf Shop.
Looks like Eckersley without the mustache with that do.
Very much a 70s haircut.
The one thing I remember when when Clint was down in AAA, is that all of us were just frumpy. He got jeans on or whatever. He had sport coats, they were ironed and pristine, and
Oh, he
great
was,
dresser.
yes, he was a dresser.
Yeah. And we're like, this is a big leaguer.
I will say this. Talking to Clint Hurdle, you can't help but be inspired. He's got that kind of personality.
Yeah, and he's had a lot of things happen in his life that he's had to conquer that have made him into the man he is today, which is special.
2-1 to Dom Smith, who's 0 for 2 tonight. And he slugs one out to center field. Marte got turned around, but he finds it. 2 out, and back to first goes Cabrera. SNY Super Slow Motion is brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. And Devin Mesoraco, who's singled into right and then hit a line drive to short. 1 for 2.
Tyler does something I've never seen a pitcher do before. When he goes into his glove, watch his thumb. He kind of just flicks the ball with his thumb as he turns it over to get his grip. Most pitchers use the other digits. Kind of like flips it with his thumb, like he's trying to crack a safe.
Maybe he has those ancillary skills.
How do you know, Ron?
You
got experience in this area?
You know, my grandparents had a safe when I was a kid, and I did everything I could to try to get that safe open every single day I was over there.
And
never got there.
Look at that.
Right? It's unusual.
Over the tumblers.
did you have a little set of lock picking tools?
I had nothing. I just
those
had
little pokers.
I was doing what everyone tries to do today if they're trying to figure out someone's password. I was just trying to think of the numbers that they could possibly might have thought about.
Popped up on the right side. There's nobody there, but Harrison comes across and gets there to retire the side. A hit and 1 left. 6 scoreless innings for Jamison Tyone. Reyes in that game. Nationals have fallen behind the Phillies into third place in the NL East. Tyler Bachelor, who gave up a 2-run homer to Josh Bell in the 6th, stays on for his second big league inning. Colin Moran leads off the 7th for the Pirates and fouls the first pitch away. Moran doubled to left center in the 1st. He's 1 for 2 with an intentional walk tonight.
Got the no-hit watch nightly, don't we? Seems like it.
I think that's 30 times this year a pitcher's had a no-hitter through 6, something along those lines.
Yeah.
Battling postponements for the bigger number in baseball this year. Tyler Glasnow up in the bullpen for the Pirates as Bachelor gets a fastball by Moran, and it's 0-2. So let's see, 90 pitches for Tyler through 6 innings. They're going to pull him.
110 is his high this year.
0-7.
Why not? I mean, you got the lower part of the order coming up. Elias Diaz waiting on deck, and then Corey Dickerson for the Pirates in the 7th. One-two from Bachelor, and Moran smacks one to right, but right at Bautista. 1 out. SNY Play Ball, presented by Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, is back. Teaming up with the New York Jets, we're looking to help local football leagues with grants, equipment donations, clinics, and Jets game experiences. Does your league need assistance? Apply today at sny.tv/playball. 1 out. Top of the 7th. Gorgeous night at Citi Field. Here's Elias Diaz, who's 2 for 3. And a good slider by Bachelor to start him off.
Bravos have got underway. Poltonevich back pitching. He left the game against the Mets with triceps tightness.
What did they have, a rain delay in Atlanta?
A rain delay.
Now,
yeah,
I want you to know that when we go to Atlanta and have our nightly rain delays, they always tell us there that they never have rain except when the Mets are in town.
They meaning the guys and ladies in our booth.
You know, our camera people,
yeah,
our audio people, our stage manager, they always say that we are the rainmakers. And then every time I look up, they're having a rain delay.
Ah, but Gary, there is a bright side.
We're not going back to Atlanta this year?
You got it.
Yeah, all done.
Can you believe that? Can you believe that first half of the season and you're not playing a team in your division on the road?
You mean the first place team in the division?
Right.
So it makes you wonder. The Braves have unexpectedly taken a step forward a little faster than people expected. It's popped up in foul ground. Plawecki might have a play. And he's got it 2 out. Will the Braves be buyers coming toward the trading deadline? I mean, they need bullpen help, I think, probably more than anything.
I said that from the beginning. And
they could use a guy in the rotation too. You know, like a Jay Happ, someone like that.
So are they positioned to do that?
I wouldn't give up any of that. I wouldn't upset that lineup.
Well, I mean, they're not trading Acuna and Albies.
No.
But are they going to give up prospects? I mean, they've got a bunch of pitchers who are a year or so away who they thought were going to be part of their renaissance, but the renaissance has come a little quicker than expected.
They got a nice lineup, man, and it's not a thumping lineup. They got a lot of speed at the top. Freddie Freeman having just a spectacular year. I think he's re-energized and realizes now after all the lean years that he got a chance, and it's invigorated him. He has just looked as good as I've ever seen him. Markakis as well.
Markakis is probably going to be an all-star for the first time this year. He looks rejuvenated at age 34. Dickerson 0 for 2 with a walk tonight.
Oh, nice changeup he mixed in
We've
there.
seen that. Popped up foul. That'll come back out of play. And Bachelor ahead on the count 1-2. 1-2 coming in tight. That's the third hitter who's had to move back from a Tyler Bachelor fastball.
It's nice to kind of see this. Don't see it. He's not. He's just amped up and throwing bullets.
Yeah.
But get those guys dancing up there. Move them off the plate. I like it.
Two coming. Pulled on the ground down to first. Plawecki handles it. And Tyler Bachelor has a 1-2-3 inning. Nicely done by the young right-hander in his big league debut. Stretch time, 5-0 Pirates. Mets have been blanked for the first 6 by Jamison Tyone. And despite the fact that they had a reliever up the last inning, Tyone is staying on to pitch the 7th at 90 pitches for the night. Jose Reyes leads off. He's 0 for 2, grounded out and struck out, and he jumps back from a fastball, ball 1. Kevin Plawecki, Luis Guillorme to follow as the Mets try and generate something against Tyone in the 7th. They've had just 2 singles tonight. Tyone has walked 3, struck out 5. Six-year-old right-hander from Texas, 2nd overall pick in the 2010 draft, right behind Bryce Harper. They had to wait for him, but he appears as though he was worth the wait after Tommy John surgery, after a cancer scare last year. Reyes fouls went off, and it's 2-2.
What's impressive about Tyone is that when he gets in fastball counts, meaning he's behind in the count, hitter know he's coming with a fastball with a 5-0 lead, still able to throw it by the hitter, or the hitter's a little bit late. That's impressive.
Two to Reyes. He slaps one down the left field line, slicing toward the corner. That's a base hit. Reyes heads to second. And he'll stop there with a leadoff double. Fourth double of the year for Jose, and the Mets' first extra base hit of the night.
Outside pitch, went right with it. Just kind of punched it out there in the left field.
So the Mets have a leadoff man on. Here's Plawecki, who's grounded out and struck out tonight. Mets on this homestand are 3 for 27 with runners in scoring position. And that's pulled down to third under the glove of Moran and down the line. Reyes around third. He'll come in with the first Met run. Plawecki goes to second, and the Mets have planted a run. It's now 5-1. You're going to score that a double for Plawecki on a ball that got under the glove of Moran. Fifth extra base hit in Plawecki's last 3 games.
A little tardy getting there, wasn't he? And we talked about the defense of the Pirates, and that is not a strength.
Well, the Westchester native, playing his first game in New York, has struggled defensively. Made an error. That one, a play that could have been made, and that's going to be the end of the line for Jameson Taillon. Pirates will make a double switch. Austin Meadows is coming into left field, and looks like Tyler Glasnow is coming into pitch. So Taillon is done after 6 innings plus. Mets trying to rally in the 7th. They've got to run across. The call to the bullpen brought to you by Verizon. Somebody answer that. 5-1 Pirates in the 7th. We'll be right back. Match pitches for the Mets. Tuesday Night Baseball brought to you by Fios. Coverage begins at 6:30 tomorrow night right here on SNY. Austin Meadows comes in to play left field. He'll bat 9th. And Tyler Glasnow making the transition this year from starting to relieving.
Yeah, he was going to be one of their stars in the starting rotation and has been good in the bullpen.
Back-to-back doubles by Reyes and Plawecki have played at the Mets' first run of the night. Now Luis Guillorme, who's 0 for 2. Wilmer Flores is out on deck to pinch hit with the pitcher spot due up next. So Taillon goes 6 innings plus, allows 4 hits, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, 96 pitches. Robert Gsellman up in the Mets bullpen. Plawecki at second and nobody out. And Guillorme takes curveball down 2-0.
Well, what do you think, folks? Let's take a poll. Do you like that?
I like the shoes. The socks are a little busy.
I don't like anything about that.
I mean, their colors are gold and black.
We fail.
3-0.
Oh, there's a hat from
The Star Pops.
70s.
1976, the old bicentennial hats that everybody wore that year.
The Pirates are the only one that kept them.
Yeah, Kent Jacoby looked particularly spectacular in that hat.
Kent Jacoby looked like Ray Bolger in the Scarecrow when he was out there.
And Guillorme takes a strike, 3-1. Glasnow made 13 starts last year, worked to a 7.69 ERA, leading to his transition to the pen. And he walks Guillorme to put 2 men on. I think it's Kent Jacoby.
Now tell me that isn't Ray Bolger.
Looks like Hunter S. Thompson to me.
Do 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 do. Well, the Mets with a chance to make up some more ground now. Down 5-1. Wilmer Flores bats with first and second and 1 out. Batting for Tyler Bachelor, who turned in 2 innings in his big league debut. Wilmer started yesterday at first base, went 1 for 5.
The Bucks bullpen, unlike the Mets, has been just the opposite. 6 earned runs in the last 36 2/3. ERA of 1.47 in the last 9 games.
Wilmer has a home run against Glasnow in just 2 career at bats. And Glasnow having trouble throwing strikes. He's averaged 4.5 walks per 9 innings, which is actually down from last year. Last year he has 6.4 walks per 9. And the Pirates have further action going behind him in their bullpen. Stephen Brault, the left-hander, is up for Pittsburgh now.
Got to mix in a strike here, don't you?
Wilmer gets one in the air to left field. Back goes Meadows. Back near the wall. It's out of here. A pinch hit 3-run homer for Wilmer Flores. And the Mets pulled it within 1 run. Number 5 for Wilmer, and it's 5-4. The Mets' 3rd pinch hit home run this season. A 4-1 7th for New York. And this is now a 1-run game.
Walks the first batter, and he falls behind Wilmer 1-0 and gets a fastball. And I guess Wilmer knows he's got it.
Fourth career pinch hit home run for Flores. And he never had any doubt. Tyler Glasnow faces 2 batters, a walk and a home run, and he's gone. 1-run game in the 7th. We'll be right back. Second straight day the Mets have had a late inning 3-run homer. That Mets home run means City will donate enough for No Kid Hunger to provide 20,000 meals to help kids in need. And Michael Conforto showing bunt as he faces the lefty Stephen Brault.
So we have the third baseman moving over a tad.
Third time today we've seen a Met hitter at least intimate that he might bunt. So a message has clearly been sent.
Very reactionary, not visionary.
Michael tonight has struck out twice and walked 0 for 2. Stephen Brault, who started 5 games for the Pirates this year, now his 16th relief outing. And it's inside, and Brault, like Glasnow before him, having trouble throwing strikes.
There's the prior to the bunt right there. You look at the third baseman left of your screen. Now they're going to move him over. You can still put a bunt down, but it takes if the charts are showing that Conforto hits the ball up the middle, then that opens up that hole. Boy, oh boy, how about this?
4-pitch walk. So 2 relievers have come into this inning, and each has walked his first batter. Glasnow walked Guillorme, then gave up the home run to Flores.
Well, 1-0 count, wants it away, and where is it? Oof. But as you said, Ron, you can throw hard.
Hard's not enough, Keith.
Right down the pipe. And this is like what happened in Colorado, Ron, with all the walks.
So 5 straight Mets have reached base to start this bottom of the 7th, tying run at first with nobody out. And here's Bautista. And you're going to have to throw him a strike because he's been incredibly patient. He's walked once today, otherwise 0 for 2. And now Kyle Crick, whom the Pirates got in the Andrew McCutchen deal from the Giants, is up in the bullpen. 3 infielders on the left side against Bautista. Think he would show bunt?
Oh, God.
And that is 6 in a row out of the strike zone for Stephen Brault. And his walk numbers are high. He averages 5.3 walks per 9 innings, and the Mets have yet to have to take a swing. Reyes, the pitching coach, will come out for a conversation. So the first 2 runs of the inning are charged to Tyone, who gave up back-to-back doubles before departing. Glasnow is retired with the next 2, is then charged with the next 2 without retiring a batter. And now Brault has come in and thrown 6 straight out of the strike zone.
This is where you don't get the love tap from the pitching coach. He goes usually up one side and down the other.
Reyes, Mr. 1000. The only Met in history with a 1,000 winning percentage and a 1,000 batting average for his Mets career. 1-0, 1 for 1. People's United Bank brings you tonight's starters. Seth Lugo, victimized by his defense. That defense, by the way, the 3 errors cost Lugo 31 extra pitches. That's why he only went 5 innings tonight. Tyone was immense through the first 6, but gave up a couple of doubles to start the 7th, and now the bullpen has thrown gasoline on it. 2-0 to Bautista, and first to check in on Conforto.
I mean, you wouldn't want Conforto stealing here. You got Bautista coming up and Cabrera, and you want them to swing the bats. And this guy's got to throw a strike. Oh, God.
7 straight balls.
He goosed that one a little bit.
Did.
Archie Bell.
The Pirate bullpen has now thrown 16 pitches, 14 balls. And that's a borderline strike.
Didn't have to give it to him. Usually you don't get that pitch from the umpire when you're all over the place. But Brian Honora chose to give it to him. I thought it was outside. It could be wrong.
I thought, okay, give it to him.
You want Bautista hitting,
Yes,
right?
yes,
That
yes.
was charity.
Yes.
He tops one toward third, and that'll kick foul. Let's see what PitchCast has to say about that 3-0 pitch. Not even close. Come on. Not running a charity affair here.
I led the league in walks. I know what a ball is.
Three and two, nobody out. Conforto at first. Sending him?
No, I would not. Not down.
Not going, and Bautista strikes out for the first out of the inning.
You throw him a breaking ball?
Yes, he did. On top of the plate. He just got over anxious there.
Just not expecting that slider. Well, should have been first and second, but instead Brault gets a break and uses it to strike out Bautista.
Well, you got to be looking fastball here. It's a left-hander that's got that kind of three-quarter going to throw away. They be shooting for that right center field gap.
Cabrera's walked and singled tonight, 1 for 2. Takes the fastball off the plate for ball 1.
Brault's got good stuff. Got nice sink on his ball. He's got to throw it over the plate.
That ball.
Pitch to contact.
He's got a good arm.
Yeah. But that means really nothing. He can't throw strikes.
Conforto tying run at first with 1 out. And Cabrera fouls it off.
You know, there used to be a time when your pitcher, he was struggling to throw strikes with his fastball. You start calling breaking balls. Sometimes that can kind of lock him in. And that's what the catcher Diaz did right there.
Or low-flying aircraft. To his dribble. Nobody steps out anymore when the planes fly over.
I don't think it is as obtrusive at this ballpark as it was at the big.
Yeah, you're right.
Good off-speed pitch. 2-2. I liked Rusty Staub's theory on the aircraft.
Yes.
So
Agreed.
as a hitter, he would stay in because he figured if the airplane was flying over, the outfielders couldn't hear the crack of the bat.
And Rusty was an outfielder back then, so he knew. He would know from his own personal experience on the defensive side.
So he figured it gave him an advantage as a hitter. 2-2 coming, and Cabrera takes one in the dirt. 3-2.
You throw a changeup on. You got a guy who can't get the ball over the plate, and you throw a 2-2 changeup.
Trying to trick the hitter. Now do you run Conforto?
Yep.
I'd say no because of the left-handed pitcher. If it was a right-handed pitcher, I would take a chance.
Because you can't get picked off, Gary, so you're not going to get a good jump. So if it's a strike him out, it's an automatic throw him out.
Dom Smith on deck. Not going. And Cabrera pulls one to third. Should be 2. Moran to Harrison. And on to first for the 5-4-3 double play. Cabrera hit it sharply. Conforto wasn't running. And Brault is able to find his way through that 7th. That's but a 4 spot, though, in the inning. 3 of them coming home on a pinch hit home run off the bat of Wilmer Flores. And the Mets get back in the game. It's 5-4 Pittsburgh going to the 8th. Brought to you by Old Dominion Freight Line, official freight carrier of MLB. ODFL.com for more information. We go to the 8th inning. Mets with a 4 spot in the 7th to get back in this thing. And Robert Gazelman will try and keep it there in the 8th inning.
Well, it's been tough for Robert of late. 8 runs given up in his last 2 appearances.
Gave up the 3-run homer to Ryan McMahon in Colorado. And then the grand slam to Matt Kemp on Saturday night here. He'll face the lower third of the Pirates batting order. Polanco, Mercer, and Meadows in the top of the 8th. Polanco homered back in the 2nd. He's also walked and popped up 1 for 2. Seth Lugo started, went 5, allowed 3 runs, only 1 earned on 4 hits. Tyler Bachelor gave up a 2-run homer to Josh Bell. All he allowed in 2 innings of work. And now Gazelman in the 8th. One of the few Met relievers who was not called upon yesterday.
The thing that's been tough for Robert lately is that his sinker, like last year, is starting to just run across on the same plane. That's a good one. Earlier in the season, he had it not only running but going down. That's the key.
Now, they always used to say about sinker ball pitchers that the more they worked, the better their ball sunk.
Yeah, but he's not a true sinker ball pitcher in the sense that.
We'll call Mesoraco, another nick on Devin.
Looked like it caught him right in the breadbasket. He's not a true sinker ball pitcher in the sense that he pitches to contact and gets a lot of ground balls. He's got nasty stuff where he can get strikeouts.
So more of a power sinker than a ground ball sinker.
Exactly.
So does that change how the fatigue factor works in?
I think that, you know, he's 7th in the National League in innings. I think he's just starting to ratchet up a lot of innings and having to pitch through some, not dead arm, but you know, where your arm is not as lively as it was earlier in the season.
Gets that one up for the foul tip, and Polanco is struck out for the first out of the 8th.
It's up. It's not a pitch. When you throw a fastball that he wants to do that, but with the hitters today, you can pitch upstairs a little 4-seamer.
Foul tipped into the glove of Mesoraco.
Uppercut swing.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now Jordy Mercer, who's 0 for 3, struck out and flied out twice. And he takes a strike. Hit hard, but right at Reyes. 1 sharp hop, and he throws out Mercer 2 away. Coming up tonight on Geico Sports Night. Do they have enough time in a half an hour?
Injury update.
All the soccer and basketball news as well.
By the way, it's all, every great player is going to the Knicks at some point, but they never do.
Now Austin Meadows, 23-year-old first-round draft pick from a few years ago, whose big league career has gotten off to a rollicking start. He's played 31 games. He's hitting .327, 5 home runs. He's been playing a lot lately, but not in the lineup tonight for some reason. And a good changeup by Gazelman to get ahead 0-2. Meadows just 23 years old. First round draft pick, 9th overall in 2013. Out of high school in Georgia.
He's had a lot of injuries that has stalled his career.
Yes.
Got him looking. Side retired. Nice bounce back inning for Robert Gazelman. 1-2-3 with a couple of strikeouts. Mets down a run as they come to bat in the bottom of the 8th. when they came to bat in the 7th. Put together a 4 spot, including a 3-run pinch hit home run off the bat of Wilmer Flores. Now they're down 5-4 as we go to the bottom of the 8th, and right-hander Kyle Crick comes on to pitch the 8th inning.
Well, the Mets saw him last year. He made his debut with the Giants, came over in the McCutchen trade, pitched 30 times for the Giants, and if you're the Mets, you feel like you have to get it done here because they have a closer who's quite good.
That's Felipe Vasquez, formerly known as Felipe Rivero. Dominic Smith leads off in the home 8th. He's 0 for 3 tonight, a double play and 2 fly balls, and he thinks about a bunt. Well, this has been a night-long circumstance for the Mets. The 4th time they've had a hitter show bunt. They haven't laid one down yet, but at least it's forced the defense to move a little bit after the decision not to have Smith bunt last night in the 10th inning. And it's low and in 2-0. It's amazing, isn't it? Well, how come nobody thought of this before? And now all of a sudden everybody is showing bunt?
Well, 1-13.
It's taken 75 games.
1-13 will do it.
It's kind of funny when you think about it. And a fastball strike 2-1.
You know, if you're an elite team and everything is clicking, you don't have to do those things, right?
But you know, we saw the Cubs earlier this
when they didn't have
month.
Bryant and Rizzo in the game,
and they did stuff like that.
That's the envelope.
And they're a good team.
Yes, they are. But I'm saying if you're a team, if the Mets were hitting home runs at a prodigious rate like they did last year, then maybe you don't think about it as much. But listen, you're starving for victories, whatever it takes.
I just mean the whole consciousness of taking what the defense gives you seems to all just have occurred to this team overnight.
I would bet you it's a plague throughout both leagues, Gary.
But we've seen certain guys like Anthony Rizzo's perfect example. We've seen him do it a dozen times, bunt against the shift, and it makes teams think twice. Now with 2 strikes, Mercer Moran can go back to that shortstop position. 2-2. And he tried to hold, but he went around strike 3. Slider in the dirt, and Crick has a strikeout to start his stint.
What do you think, guys? Close.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the lessons that maybe is learned here, if you're a team that maybe has sold a lot of your good players and you're trying to wait until you become a good team, this is a way you could take care of business, right?
Well, except, other than Dominic Smith and Ahmed Rosario, this is a veteran team.
Yeah, so they're not going to change their spots, right?
Mesoraco 1 for 3 tonight, and he takes a slider inside. 2-0. Kyle Crick, first-round draft pick by the Giants in 2011 out of high school in Texas. And he gets a strike called to Mesoraco. 2-1. Pirates 5 runs, 5 hits. The Mets 4 runs, 5 hits. The difference in this game, 2 unearned runs that the Pirates scored early in this game. And now 3-1 to Mesoraco. Reyes Familia getting ready to pitch the 9th. Hoping the Mets can at least tie it before they get there. 3-1 coming, and Mesoraco takes ball 4, and the Mets have a 1-out base runner.
Well, each of the 3 relievers now that Clint Hurdle has gone to have walked at least 1.
6 walks for the Pirates. That's too many.
We're going to get a pinch runner. Brandon Nimmo will run for Mesoraco, carrying the tying run. Nimmo suffered a bruised hand yesterday when he got hit by a pitch on his right pinky, and the MRI today, which gave him a clean bill of health. day to day as far as his status in terms of being able to hit, but certainly able to run tonight. So Plawecki will have to move behind the plate now.
Diaz, the catcher, has a gun.
So Nimmo carrying the tying run at first. Reyes, the batter, doubled down the left field line his last time up. That got the Mets 4-run 7th inning started.
Well, here they come, Garrett. At least threatening the mound visits.
Is that number 3?
Yeah.
No, it's number 4. Down to 2. 2. That's as low as we've seen it go. Reyes just wants his relief pitchers to throw some strikes. One to Reyes. Fouls off the fastball at 97. Ball on the strike. Nimmo has 7 stolen bases this year. Not a huge lead. And Reyes foul tips it. 1-2. Plawecki waiting on deck. And Reyes just got a piece of that. Slider boring in on him.
Did he hit that off the end of the bat?
I believe so.
Did he cue it?
Cued it. Massade it.
Then that means he did. That means you're out in front and you're not picking the ball up. Want to come fastball in.
And he slaps it the other way past Moran and into left field. Nimmo around second. He's going to slam on the brakes as Meadows gets it in. Reyes with his second straight opposite field hit. And the Mets have the tying and go-ahead runs on base with 1 out.
Well, again, we talked earlier about the new analytics of the game, and what we've seen a lot now is no doubles, although that's way off the line. I would never give that much line from the 7th inning on. He gets beat here in his fastball, but he just happens to just kind of stayed level, punched it to left.
So first and second and 1 out. And here's Plawecki, who doubled past Moran into left field to drive in a run in the 7th. And takes a slider for a strike.
He got another one in him. Back-to-back days.
Hit a 3-run homer in the 8th inning yesterday. And that slider catches the corner, and it's 0-2. Luis Guillorme is on deck. Mets have already gotten a pinch hit 3-run homer from Flores in this game. And Plawecki goes down on the 3rd straight slider, and that's the 2nd out. So Crick, after giving up the base hit to Reyes, stayed with the breaking ball and has the second out.
This one, almost he got underneath it and then hung a little, but it was slower than the other sliders, and that's what confused Plawecki.
So it's left to Guillorme, and if you think about a pinch hitter in this spot, what the Mets have left on the bench is Kevin Kazmarski, who has one big league at bat, and Ahmed Rosario. And you got the pitcher due up next, and so Rosario's on deck. So it's Guillorme to bat. He's 0 for 2 and a walk today, and he takes it high for ball 1. At least you're pretty certain that Guillorme is going to put it in play. He's now got 41 straight plate appearances without striking out.
And after a tough game defensively, this would be great at bat for Guillorme to come up with a hit.
Nimmo, the pinch runner at second. Reyes at first. Lots of speed on the bases with 2 out. And Guillorme takes a fastball in the corner. 1-1. Kyle Crick, the 4th Pirate pitcher of the night. Their bullpen's been spotty so far. And Guillorme just was not meaning to swing.
Well, he got fortunate there. He got the bat in the way because that was a strike. Barely hanging in here.
You sure it was a strike?
Yes. Might have been. It could have been inside. I think it was a strike here.
In any event, it's 1-2 to Guillorme. So Crick with a chance to get through this inning after giving up a walk and a base hit. 1-2 coming, and he serves one foul down the left side.
See Diaz, the catcher, admonishing his pitcher, throw that slider in the dirt. Don't leave it for a strike.
Look at the defense with Guillorme. Wouldn't you, Ronnie, want your center fielder over around 10, 15 more feet and your right fielder over in that gap?
Yes.
Again, the 1-2. Slapped down to third. Moran on the backhand has to make the long throw right on target to retire the side. Moran, who's had his defensive problems all night, handled that one cleanly to get Crick and the Pirates through the bottom of the 8th. 5-4 Pittsburgh going to the 9th. All right, guys, ninth inning. Starling Marte at the top of the batting order against Robert Gesellman, and he takes inside. Defensive changes for the Mets. Kevin Plawecki moves from first base to catcher. Dominic Smith moves from left field to first base. Brandon Nimmo, who pinch ran, stays in left field. And Marte takes the pitch high, and it's 2-0. Marte 0 for 3 and a walk. He's stolen 2 bases and scored 2 runs. Led off the game with a ground ball to third that resulted in an error and kind of set the tone for the night for the Mets defense. Lines one to center field, and that's down for a base hit. And Marte is on again, and the stolen base will quickly be in order. After his 3 home run weekend for Vegas, is it time for the Mets to call up their top prospect Peter Alonso? SNY's MLB insider Andy Martino weighs in on SNY.TV, your online home of all things New York sports. That was 3 home runs in 1 game in Vegas, 7 RBIs for Alonso. Here's Josh Bell, who had a 2-run opposite field home run in the 6th inning against Tyler Bachelor. And put a crimp in Tyler's big league debut. It was Bell's first home run in the month of June. Gesellman retired the side 1-2-3 in the 8th. Now a leadoff hit in the 9th. And every reason to think Marte is going to take off at some point. He's already stolen 2 today, 16 for the year.
Well, he drew a throw. He saw Gesellman's throwing to the plate. That's Vasquez.
Parentheses, Rivero changed his name this year. Apologized to all the folks who had bought his jersey. He's the kid who first came up with the Nationals, and wasn't he the one who gave up the Wilmer Flores walk-off in the 12th inning?
Yes, it was. He always had trouble keeping the ball in the ballpark against the Mets. Hadn't thrown strikes, but coming to his own. Traded him for Melanson, didn't they?
Yeah, I think so.
This is a case here, Gary. We talked about how they want to put a power hitter in the 2-hole, which certainly Bell was last year, not this year, but he's an all-or-nothing hitter. You know, if you got a couple table setters in the 1 and 2 hole, then you set up a hit and run, which is gone now, or a sacrifice, and set up your 3 and 4 hitters to drive in a big run here, an insurance run in the 9th inning. Instead, you got a Whaler up here, and you got to hope he hits a bomb.
Or walks. He's 3-0 now.
A Whaler, I like that.
Like a Hartford Whaler, or like Bob Marley and the Whaler. Or are we just talking, you know, Ahab?
Ahab, yes.
Quee.
Swinging 3-0 for the 2nd time tonight. He pops one foul, and Guillorme watches it go out of play.
Well,
So he swung 3-0 twice. He grounded out the 1st time, and he hits a foul ball the 2nd time.
got the scouting report now, hopefully. Every time you face Josh Bell, be ready.
I don't know. He hasn't had much luck with it so far.
Very few hitters are very good at 3-0.
Curtis Granderson was great.
Great.
3-1 from Gesellman. Marte runs. It's ball 4. And the Pirates have the first 2 men on in the 9th. So now 1st and 2nd and nobody out. Josh Harrison is coming up. Now Harrison is usually a table setter in his own right.
That's right.
Hitting 3rd for the first time this year. Be interesting to see if he's asked to bunt in this spot.
He's a guy that will lead off for you, hit 2nd, hit 8th.
Now the Pirates are a team that has very much embraced analytics over the last few years. Clint Hurdle has been a late adopter.
With the corners in, I'd let him get one strike, let him swing.
Pirates have 1 sacrifice bunt from a position player this year, and it was Harrison. And he is swinging and fouls back the fastball.
You had a cut. I'm going to let him hit. He's the 3rd hitter. You don't hit your third hitter.
But he's not
Bunt, I mean.
usually a third hitter. You got Colin Moran waiting on deck. Guillorme playing on the cutout at third. Smith back at first. And Harrison takes the breaking ball outside, 1-1.
I know when he first started this job, occasionally Carlos Beltran would bunt in this situation. Remember?
On his own.
Yeah.
Which we never really quite agreed with. Wanted Carlos to swing the bat.
He felt as though he was being unselfish.
Yeah. And remember, he started his career batting at the top of the lineup, you know?
I hear there's $1 million bonus out there for unselfish at bats.
That's right. That's right. Don't strike out with people in scoring position. Mr. Smoltz, our buddy.
I want him to become manager someday to see how that plays out. See if anybody plays for the bonus.
It might happen. Not if he keeps playing golf the way he is. He's be on the tour soon.
Might be putting a lot of trophies on his shelves.
Exactly.
You go with the you know, the Cy Young and the Hall of Fame plaque and all that.
It's a big pitch right here.
Popped up foul. That'll come out of play. And it's 2-2 to Harrison. Harrison drove in a run with a sac fly in the first inning. Reached on an error and scored in the third. 0 for 3 on the night. Two teams that have been going in the wrong direction, meeting for the first time this year, both trying to snap a long losing streak. Two coming.
Oh.
Slow ground ball. Tough play for Guillorme. Can't make the bare hand grab. It's an infield hit for Harrison to load the bases.
Oh, boy, this has been a rough night for Guillorme. Oh.
No guarantee would have gotten him even if he had picked that up cleanly with Harrison running.
I agree.
Interesting, Keith. He took the tape off his fingers that he had earlier in the game.
Well, the night began poorly for Guillorme.
I didn't think this was an error. To tell you the truth.
Yeah, I thought it was a hit.
I thought it was a tough error. Very
And a
tough.
routine error in the third. Just a bad throw.
Yeah.
31 extra pitches because of the errors for Mats, huh? Sorry, for Lugo.
Right, because Cabrera made another error to lead off the fifth. So here's Moran with the bases loaded, nobody out, and he fouls off a first pitch fastball.
Infield in, of course.
Moran, who's had his own fielding troubles tonight, has gone 1 for 3 at the plate, a double back in the first inning. Oh, Reyes is playing a lot deeper than he probably should.
He should be in.
Is Marte speed at third?
Look where Cabrera is. They can't turn two. Anyway, you want to cut the run off. High chopper, and then no chance. Or a little bleeder.
Especially on the offside, right? You got the left-hander.
And Moran swings through a fastball, and so Gazelman, who would dearly love a strikeout, gets ahead 0-2. Gazelman cruised through a 1-2-3-8, but trouble has found him in the ninth. 2 singles, sandwiching a walk.
Good. Jose has come in now, getting in front of the runner.
And Moran just got a piece of that fastball.
Another 0-2 pitch, just too good for my liking.
Well, Gazelman's airing it out here. 3 straight fastballs where he's just pitching upstairs, putting a little something extra on it.
Let's get Chris Beck up in the bullpen behind Gazelman, who's now throwing 27 pitches over an inning plus. And Moran pops it up. Reyes retreating. Nimmo comes in. Reyes back to get it. And that's the first out of the inning. They did eventually call the infield fly rule once Reyes camped under it. 1 out. So now Elias Diaz, who's 2 for 4 tonight. He drove in a run with a 3rd inning single. Bases loaded, 1 out, and the middle infielders could drop back looking for 2. Dominic Smith playing way off the line at first. And Diaz fouls the first one back off Mesoraco.
Oh boy. Everybody just wailing. It's a big, you know, if you're the Pirates, it's a big run on third base right here.
I think I said Mesoraco. Of course, Plawecki moved back behind the plate this inning. Marte at third, Bell at second, Harrison at first with 1 out. And Diaz takes the curveball off the plate.
Good eye right there.
Pitcher's spot due up next for the Pirates. David Freese has come out on deck. One from Gazelman, and Diaz out to right center. Conforto back in the gap, runs it down, tagging at third Marte. He'll come in with that Pirate insurance run. It's now 6-4 Pittsburgh. So Diaz drives in his 2nd run of the night with the sacrifice fly, and the Pirates have a 2-run lead in the 9th.
Breaking ball, hanging, one to hit out of the ballpark, but it's not the situation. It's a ball you want to play up the middle. You are being a tough out, a sacrifice fly, get that insurance run in.
SNY Super Slow Motion is brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. David Freese, who was party to one of the most exciting moments Citi Field has ever witnessed.
That's right.
It was the last out of Johan Santana's no-hitter while playing for the Cardinals. Bats here with 2 out and 2 on, a run home in the 9th. Freese hitting .257 for the year, 4 home runs, and goes after a first pitch sinker, 0-1. Well, Felipe Vasquez will be on for the save opportunity for the Pirates in the bottom of the 9th. He now has a little breathing room. Probably be facing Ahmed Rosario, and with all the work he was doing on his bunting today, would it be surprising to see Ahmed try to lay one down to start that bottom of the 9th?
Depends on where the corner infielders are playing.
Quickly 0-2 on Freese. And Gazelman gets a half swing, and Freese judged to have held it up.
Wow.
Fielded Culbreth with the call. Looked like he had enough of a swing to register strike 3, but fielded said no.
Every umpire is a little different. I don't think he went there. Good call by Culbreth, but Chris Conroy on the other side has had a quicker trigger.
So Gazelman has to throw another one. And this time Freese goes down swinging to end the inning. But the Pirates manufacture an insurance run, and they'll take a 2-run lead into the bottom of the 9th at Citi Field. We go to the last of the ninth at Citi Field. Mets down by a deuce, trying to avoid a 7th straight loss. And Felipe Vasquez, the Pirate closer, comes in to try to seal the deal.
Got 35 career saves. That's 3rd in Pittsburgh Pirates history, behind Ramon Hernandez and Grant Jackson.
Oh, Grant.
Your Coors Light refreshing finish, and that is Vasquez, who changed his name earlier this year. He said his sister and he had been talking about it his entire life. His sister has the last name Vasquez. He wanted them to match, and so he decided this year that he would heretofore be known as Vasquez and not Rivero. Ahmed Rosario will pinch hit for the Mets, and let's see if he does attempt to bunt his way on to get the tying run to bat. Michael Conforto on deck, then Jose Bautista, and he takes the first pitch fastball from Vasquez for a strike.
Easy gas by Vasquez. 98.
Vasquez last year, 21 saves, 73 appearances for the Pirates, and they rewarded him with a new 4-year contract with a couple of club options. Will carry through the 2021 season. And he runs that 99-mile-an-hour fastball inside, 2-1. Of course, during this 2-day break for Rosario, the other thing other than bunting that they have been concentrating on has been his plate discipline. At times he has been chasing inordinately, and especially lately, so that's part of the reason they sat him down. Goes after a fastball and fouls back 2-2. Two coming, and he strikes him out. 100-mile-an-hour fastball from Vasquez to fan Rosario for the first down of the ninth.
Well, you know what's coming. He's just going to bring the old cheddar at you.
The Mets have managed just 6 hits tonight. When the night began, the Mets' home batting average for the season was .216. which is the lowest home batting average for any team in the last 50 years. And it's gotten no better tonight. Here's Conforto, takes a fastball for a strike. Michaels walked twice, struck out twice, 0 for 2. If the Mets do not rally, it'll be 14 losses in their last 15 home games, which is beyond stunning. They were 1-8 on their last homestand, in danger of falling to 0-4 on this homestand against a team that's been struggling in their own right.
Ball started right at Conforto, ended up on the outside corner.
Oh, 2 to Michael, and he manages to foul off the fastball at 101. Not quite Chapman-esque velocity, but not bad.
Pretty close.
Jordan Hicks.
Now that's 105.
Mr. 105. Bautista on deck. 0-2 to Conforto. And he struck him out on a high fastball. Vasquez with back-to-back strikeouts, and the Mets are down to their final out.
It's high cheese.
Gas.
No chance.
Up and away. 3 strikeouts for Michael tonight, 0 for 3.
Doesn't even look like he's overexerting.
Just has blessed with an unbelievable arm. And when we saw him with Washington, he had control issues. No longer.
So it's left to Bautista, who's 0 for 3 and a walk tonight. Mets were shut out for the first 6 innings by Jameson Taillon. They rallied for 4 runs in the 7th. The last 3 on a Wilmer Flores pinch hit home run. But now Vasquez with a chance to put on the finishing touches.
Oh,
Change up by Vasquez, and it's 0-2.
Pat? Pat, hello. How are you? Didn't know you had that. Nice changeup. Everybody's got a changeup today.
And thus the Mets are down to their final strike. Just inside, 1-2. If Bautista can find his way aboard, as Drupal Cabrera would be next. One-two from Vasquez to Bautista. Cast that changeup outside, 2-2. Not even Nimmo's smiling.
Nothing to smile about.
Two-two.
Oh.
Got him looking, and the ball game is over. Vasquez strikes out the side in the 9th. The Mets have lost their 7th straight game. The Pirates snap a 5-game losing streak. As the Mets make 3 errors, the Pirates hit 2 home runs, and Pittsburgh wins tonight 6-4.
Well, because of those errors, Lugo was only able to go 5 innings. Tyler Bachelor made his debut, but a 2-run home run to Bell, the first baseman. Kind of the difference in the game after the late offense by the Mets.
Well, the Mets only got 6 hits. They continue to struggle offensively. Outside of Wilmer Flores' pinch hit 3-run home run. That was Wilmer's 5th. The Mets would have lost 6-1, so 6-2. But boy, the troubles just keep to compound here, piling on.
Game summary presented by Jeep. Jameson Taillon threw 6 scoreless innings to begin the game, and he gets the victory, his 5th of the year. The Pirates snap a 5-game losing streak, and the Mets' woes just continue. Mets fall to 14 games under 500. 6-4 the final. Pirates win it. More coming up from Citi Field in just a moment.